She walked into the room expecting money. She found her dead husband alive. Lila Mercer thought the hardest part of her life was behind her, bearing a child she never held, signing papers that killed a marriage, and rebuilding herself one shattered piece at a time. But when a mysterious benefactor summons her with an offer too generous to refuse, she discovers something far more dangerous than charity. The man she divorced didn't just disappear. He became a king, and he wants her back. Stay with me until the end. Like this video and comment what city you're watching from so I can see how far this story travels. The courthouse smelled like floor polish and failure. Lila Mercer sat in the hallway outside Judge Brennan's chambers, her hands folded in her lap like she was praying, though she hadn't done that in years. The leather folder beside her contained the final dissolution papers, signatures dry, marriage dead. 4 years of paperwork to undo 8 years of promises. Mathematics didn't lie. Love did. She didn't cry. She'd run out of tears somewhere between the third miscarriage and the morning she woke up to find Adrian's side of the bed not just empty, but cold. Like he'd been gone for hours. Like he'd been planning his escape while she slept. "Miss Mercer?" The clerk's voice cut through the fluorescent hum. "Judge Brennan will see you now." Lila stood. Her knees popped. 34 years old, and her body already kept a ledger of every loss. She picked up the folder and walked into the office where her marriage would be officially pronounced dead. 10 minutes later, it was done. She walked out of the Richard J. Daley Center into a Chicago winter that had no mercy. February wind ripped down Clark Street like it had a personal vendetta. She pulled her coat tighter, a good coat, wool, bought on sale 3 years ago and worn thin at the cuffs now. She'd lost weight since Adrian left. Not the intentional kind. The kind that came from forgetting to eat because eating alone felt like another small defeat. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. Probably her mother calling to ask if she was okay, which was code for, "Have you fallen apart yet?" Lila had learned to wear her survival like armor. She went to work. She paid her bills. She smiled when required. No one needed to know that some nights she still woke up reaching for a man who wasn't there, mourning a child who never was. She walked 4 blocks to the Red Line station, descended into the belly of the city, and let the train swallow her north toward Uptown. The car smelled like wet wool and someone's breakfast burrito. She sat between a kid with headphones leaking bass and an old woman whose shopping bags crowded the aisle. Anonymous. Invisible. Exactly how she preferred it. Her stop came. She climbed back into daylight, gray, flat, the kind of sky that made you forget the sun existed. The Lakeview Community Center sat wedged between a laundromat and a closed-down diner, its brick facade tagged with graffiti that almost looked artistic if you squinted. She'd worked here for 2 years, running a family counseling program on a budget held together with grant money and hope. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed. The smell of burned coffee greeted her. Marcus, the center's director, leaned against the reception desk, scrolling his phone. He looked up when she entered. "You good?" he asked. "Fine," she said. It was her default answer. Fine meant functional. Fine meant she wouldn't break down in the break room. "You got a visitor." She stopped. "What?" "Some guy, suit, waiting in your office." Marcus frowned. Said it was important, wouldn't give a name. Her stomach tightened. "How long?" 20 minutes. She walked down the narrow hallway, past the bulletin board cluttered with flyers for AA meetings and food pantry schedules, and stopped outside her office door. Through the frosted glass, she could see a silhouette, tall, still. She opened the door. The man stood with his back to her, looking at the framed degrees on her wall. Expensive suit, charcoal gray, tailored close, dark hair touched with silver at the temples. When he turned, his face was unfamiliar, but his eyes weren't. Sharp. Measuring. "Ms. Mercer," he said, not a question. "Do I know you?" "No, but I know you." He gestured to the chair across from her desk. "May I?" She didn't sit. "You've got 2 minutes." He smiled, thin, professional. "My employer would like to make a donation to your center. Substantial, no strings." "Who's your employer?" "Someone who believes in the work you do here." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I'm authorized to give." He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope, cream-colored heavy stock. He set it on her desk. Inside is an invitation to meet him, tomorrow evening. A car will pick you up at 7. I don't take meetings with anonymous donors. You will with this one. Why? The man's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind his eyes. Because he asked for you, specifically, by name. Her pulse kicked. He knew your maiden name was Brennan. He knew you worked here. He knew about your program for families in crisis. The man stepped toward the door, paused. He also knew you finalized your divorce this morning. The air left the room. How? Tomorrow, 7 p.m. He opened the door. Don't be late. He was gone before she could respond. Lila stared at the envelope. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. Inside was a single card, embossed with an address in Gold Coast and a handwritten note in ink so black it looked wet. Lila, I owe you an explanation, and much more. A.V. Adrian Vale. Her maiden name had been Brennan. She'd taken Adrian's name when they married. Adrian Mercer, not Vale. But the handwriting, she'd know it anywhere. The way he looped his capital letters, the slant of his script. She sat down hard. Adrian was alive, and he'd been watching her. That night, Lila didn't sleep. She sat at her kitchen table in the apartment she'd moved into after the divorce. A studio in Rogers Park with thin walls and a radiator that clanged like a prisoner rattling bars. She stared at the card until the words blurred. Adrian Mercer had been an accountant. Quiet. Methodical. The kind of man who color-coded his files and never missed a mortgage payment. They'd met at a coffee shop near her grad school. He'd been reading a Tom Clancy novel. She'd spilled her latte on his table. He'd smiled and said it was fine, as he'd already memorized the chapter. They married 2 years later in a small ceremony at a courthouse. Ironic, considering where she'd spent her morning. They honeymooned in Wisconsin. They bought a 2-bedroom bungalow in Jefferson Park with a backyard big enough for a swing set. Then the trying started. First miscarriage at 8 weeks, second at 12, third at 6. Each one a small death, each one carving a trench between them they didn't know how to cross. She'd wanted to talk. He'd wanted to move forward. She'd cried. He'd gone silent. The 4th pregnancy stuck. For 16 weeks they allowed themselves to hope. They painted the nursery yellow. They bought a crib. She read books about breastfeeding and sleep schedules. He built a bookshelf. At the anatomy scan, the heartbeat was gone. She delivered their daughter stillborn on a Tuesday in March. They named her Emma. She weighed 1 pound, 4 ounces. Lila held her for 2 hours. Adrian held her for 10 minutes, then left the room and didn't come back. He came home that night, but he was already gone. 3 months later, he moved out. 6 months after that, she filed for divorce. He didn't contest it, didn't show up to a single hearing. His lawyer handled everything. She thought he'd moved to another state, started over, maybe remarried. She never imagined he'd become someone who sent men in tailored suits to deliver cryptic invitations. The car arrived at 6:55. Lila stood on the curb in front of her building, wearing the only dress she owned that still fit, navy, knee-length, a relic from a job interview 2 years ago. The cold bit through her coat. She should have said no. She should have thrown the card away. But she needed to know. The car was black, sleek, the kind that cost more than her annual salary. The driver stepped out, young, clean-cut, earpiece visible. He opened the rear door without speaking. She got in. The interior smelled like leather and something expensive she couldn't name. The seats were heated. Soft jazz played low through hidden speakers. The driver pulled into traffic without a word. They drove south, through neighborhoods that grew progressively wealthier. The buildings got taller, the streets got cleaner. By the time they turned onto Astor Street, Lila's mouth was dry. The car stopped in front of a mansion. Not a house, a mansion. Limestone facade, 3 stories, windows glowing warm against the winter dark. A wrought iron fence enclosed the property. The gate opened as they approached. The driver came around and opened her door. "This way, ma'am." She followed him up the walkway, her heels clicking against stone. The front door opened before they reached it. A woman stood in the entry, older, gray hair pinned back, wearing a dark suit. "Ms. Mercer, he's expecting you." Lila stepped inside. The foyer alone was larger than her apartment. Marble floors. A chandelier that looked like frozen starlight. Artwork on the walls that even she recognized. A Chagall. unless her eyes lied. Follow me. They walked through hallways that turned and opened into rooms she barely registered. A library, a sitting room, something that might have been a ballroom. Finally, they stopped outside a set of double doors. The woman knocked once, then opened them. "Ms. Mercer," she announced, and stepped aside. Lila walked in. The room was a study, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a fireplace large enough to stand in, furniture that looked both antique and comfortable. A man stood by the fire, his back to her, hands clasped behind him. He turned. Her breath stopped. It was Adrian. And it wasn't. Same height, same build, though broader now, like he'd spent years in a gym. Same dark hair, though cut sharper. But his face, it had aged in a way that had nothing to do with years. Harder, leaner. A scar traced his left eyebrow, faint but visible. He wore a suit that probably cost more than her car. "Lila." His voice was the same, low, careful. She couldn't speak. He crossed the room slowly, stopping a few feet away, close enough that she could smell his cologne, different from what he used to wear. "Thank you for coming." "Who are you?" Her voice cracked. "Still Adrian, just not Mercer anymore." "Vale." "Yes." "Why?" "Because Mercer died the day I walked out on you." She flinched. He saw it. His jaw tightened. "I didn't bring you here to hurt you." "Then why?" "To give you what I should have given you years ago." He gestured to the chairs by the fire. "Sit, please." She didn't move. "How did you become this?" "This?" She gestured around them. "All of this. You were an accountant." "I still am, just a different kind of accounting." He poured 2 glasses of something amber from a decanter on the side table, offered her one. She didn't take it. He set it down. "After I left, I tried to disappear. New city, new name. Thought I could outrun it." "Run from what?" "Guilt. Grief. Myself." He sipped his drink. "Didn't work. I ended up in Detroit. Broke. Desperate. Started doing books for a man who owned a construction company. Except it wasn't construction, it was other things." "What things?" "The kind you don't ask about." Her stomach turned. "You're a criminal." "I'm a businessman. The legality is subjective." "That's not an answer." "No, it's not." He met her eyes. "I married into a family, a powerful one. My wife's father ran an empire. When he died, it passed to her brother. He didn't want it. I did." "Your wife?" "Sophia. She died 3 years ago. Cancer." Lila felt something twist in her chest. Not quite sympathy, not quite vindication. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. It was a marriage of convenience. She knew what I was. I knew what she needed. We were honest with each other. That's more than most people get. Is that supposed to make me feel better?" "No, it's supposed to make you understand." He set his glass down. "I built something, Lila. Something real. And I've spent the last year trying to figure out what to do with it." "And you thought of me." "I never stopped thinking of you." She turned away. The fire crackled. Heat licked at her skin, but she felt cold. "Why am I here, Adrian?" "Because I want to fund your program. Fully. No budget cuts. No grant applications. You'd have everything you need." She laughed, short, bitter. "That's it? You became a crime lord to write me a check?" "I became a crime lord because I didn't know how else to survive. But yes, that's part of it." "What's the other part?" Silence. She turned back. He was watching her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "I want you to see who I am now, not who I was." "Why?" "Because I need to know if the man I became is someone you could forgive." The word hung between them like a blade. "Forgive you?" Her voice rose. "You left me alone in a hospital room holding our dead daughter. You didn't come to her memorial. You didn't answer my calls. You filed for divorce through a lawyer and disappeared. And now you want forgiveness?" "No." His voice was quiet. "I want a chance to earn it." "You don't deserve one." "I know." She grabbed her purse. "I'm leaving." "Lila, don't." She headed for the door. "The money's already wired." She stopped. $500,000. In your center's account. Check your email." She spun. I didn't agree. You didn't have to. It's not conditional. He stepped closer. Use it. Don't use it. Give it back. I don't care. But it's there. Because you're doing the work I should have done. Helping people survive what I couldn't. Her hands shook. I don't want your money. It's not about what you want. It's about what those families need. Don't you dare. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm trying to do one good thing. His voice cracked. Let me do one good thing. She stared at him. This stranger wearing Adrian's face. This man with scars and expensive suits and blood money. I can't be part of this, she whispered. You're not. You're part of something better. He handed her a card different from yesterday's. Simple. White. A phone number written in his handwriting. If you want to understand, call me. If you don't, throw it away. But the money's yours either way. She took the card, hated herself for it. The car will take you home. She walked out without another word. The email was waiting when she got home. Transaction confirmed. $500,000 deposited into Lakeview Community Center operating account. Donor, A. Vale. She stared at the screen until her eyes burned. Marcus called at midnight. Lila, what the hell did you do? I don't know, she said. The board's losing their minds. Do you know what we can do with this? Yeah. Who is this guy? Someone I used to know. Silence. Then, Lila, is this clean money? She closed her eyes. I don't know. If it's not, I know. He sighed. Get some sleep. We'll talk tomorrow. She hung up. She should have called the police, should have returned the money, should have blocked Adrian's number and never looked back. Instead, she sat on her couch and stared at the white card until the sun came up. 3 days later, she called him. Bots. I need to see it, she said when he answered. See what? What you built. All of it. If you want me to believe you're not just a monster in a nice suit, show me. Pause. When? Now. I'll send a car. No, I'll drive. Text me the address. She hung up before he could respond. 20 minutes later, she was in her car, a 2012 Honda with a cracked windshield and a check engine light she'd been ignoring for 6 months, heading south. The address he sent was in Pilsen. She parked on the street, locked her doors, and walked 2 blocks to a building that looked like it used to be a warehouse. New paint, new windows. A sign, Vale Recovery Center. Adrian was waiting outside. You came, he said. I'm here. That's different. He nodded. Come on. Inside the warehouse had been transformed. Open floor plan, clean, bright. She saw a gym, a kitchen, rows of beds separated by privacy curtains. People moved through the space, some in workout clothes, some in street clothes, all with the same look she recognized from her own clients. Haunted, trying. This is a recovery house, Adrian said. 30 beds, medical staff on site, counseling, job training. We've got 3 more across the city. We? My organization. Your crime family. Yes. She walked through the space. A woman nodded at her. A man doing pull-ups grinned. A kid, couldn't be more than 16, sat in the corner reading a book. How many people have gone through here? Lila asked. 212. 63 are still clean. That's a 30% success rate. Better than the streets. She couldn't argue. He showed her more. A youth center in Englewood. A housing project in Austin that looked like it belonged in a different city. Safe, maintained, affordable. A scholarship fund that had sent 18 kids to college. Where does the money come from? She asked. They were in his car now. Another black sedan. This one he drove himself, heading back north. You don't want to know? I do. He was quiet for a long time. Then, gambling, loans, some construction contracts that aren't entirely legal, protection services for businesses that can't go to the police. You're a gangster. I'm a businessman who operates outside the law. There's a difference. Is there? I don't sell drugs. I don't traffic people. I don't hurt anyone who doesn't come looking for it. He glanced at her. But I won't lie to you. The money's dirty. What I do with it, I'm trying to make that clean. You can't wash blood away with charity. No, but you can build something that outlives the bleeding. She looked out the window. The city slid past. Her city, his city, a place where both of them had been broken and rebuilt in different shapes. Why me? She asked quietly. Why now? Because I'm trying to figure out if redemption is real or if I'm just fooling myself. He pulled up in front of her building, put the car in park. And because you're the only person who ever saw me as something other than a ghost or a weapon. I don't see you at all anymore. I know. But maybe you could, if I showed you the truth. I've seen the truth. Rehab centers don't erase what you are. No, they don't. He turned to face her. But they're proof I'm trying. She reached for the door handle. Lila. She stopped. Emma's birthday is next month. Her chest tightened. I'm going to visit her grave, he said. I go every year. I know you do too. I've seen you there. Her breath caught. You've been watching me? Making sure you're safe. That's all. That's not your job anymore. I know, but it's the only part of me that still feels human. She got out of the car, stood on the curb. He rolled down the window. If you want to come with me, he said, I'll pick you up, March 16th, 10 a.m. Don't, she whispered. I'll be here. You don't have to answer now. He drove away. Lila stood in the cold, shaking until she couldn't feel her fingers. March 16th came. She told herself she wouldn't go. Told herself every day for 3 weeks. Emma's birthday was private. Sacred. She didn't need Adrian there turning it into something complicated. But at 9:45, she was dressed and waiting by the window. At 10, a car pulled up. Not the black sedan. A smaller car. A Toyota. Adrian sat in the driver's seat wearing jeans and a sweater, no suit, no polish. She went downstairs. You came, he said when she got in. Don't make it a thing. They drove in silence to Graceland Cemetery, parked near the north gate, walked through paths lined with monuments older than both of them combined. Emma's grave was small, a flat marker with her name and dates. March 16th, 2019 to March 16th, 2019. Beloved daughter. Adrian had brought flowers, daisies, yellow. Lila's throat closed. Daisies had been what they'd planned for the nursery. Yellow like sunshine. He remembered. They stood side by side, not touching. I'm sorry, he said finally. I'm sorry I left you alone. I'm sorry I didn't fight for us. I'm sorry I was too broken to see you were breaking too. Lila's eyes burned. I tell myself I left because I thought you'd be better off without me, he continued. But the truth is, I left because I didn't know how to stay. I didn't know how to look at you without seeing everything we lost. And I hated myself for it, so I ran. You should have talked to me. I know. We should have fought, screamed, anything. I know. She knelt, placed her hand on the stone. Cold. Permanent. I was so angry at you. You had every right. I still am. I know. She looked up at him. But I'm tired, Adrian. I'm tired of carrying this alone. He knelt beside her. Then don't. She wanted to hate him, wanted to walk away and never look back. But sitting there, at the grave of the child they'd lost, she felt something shift. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But maybe the beginning of it. I need time, she said. I've got nothing but time. And I need honesty about everything. Okay? Starting with this. She turned to face him fully. Is there anyone trying to kill you? He hesitated. Adrian, there's always someone. It's part of the life. Her stomach sank. Are you in danger right now? No more than usual. That's not reassuring. I've got security. I'm careful. I've survived worse. That's also not reassuring. He almost smiled. I won't lie to you, Lila. Yes, there are risks, but I manage them. And I keep the people I care about far away from the fire. I'm not asking you to protect me. I'm asking if being near you will get me killed. No. Promise me. I promise. She wanted to believe him. There's something else I want to show you, he said. If you'll let me. What? A place. Somewhere no one knows about. Not my organization. Not anyone. He stood, offered his hand. Somewhere I go when I need to remember I'm still human. She looked at his hand, work roughened now, scarred across the knuckles. Not the soft hands of an accountant anymore. She took it. He pulled her to her feet. They drove for 40 minutes out of the city into suburbs that thinned into farmland. He turned down a narrow road lined with trees, then onto a gravel drive that led to a small house. Not a mansion, a cottage, white siding, blue shutters, a porch with a swing. I bought it 2 years ago, Adrian said as they got out. It's under a shell company. No one knows it exists. He unlocked the door. Inside was simple, furniture that looked lived in. A kitchen with copper pots hanging over the stove, books on shelves, a fireplace, and in the back bedroom, a nursery. Lila stopped in the doorway. Yellow walls, a crib with a mobile of stars and moons, a bookshelf filled with children's books, a rocking chair. I couldn't let it go, Adrian said quietly behind her. I tried, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw what we'd planned, what we'd lost. So I built it, here, where no one could see me fall apart. She walked into the room, ran her fingers over the crib rail. It was real, solid, not a shrine, a promise that never got kept. I come here when it gets too loud, he said, when I need to remember why I'm trying to be better. She turned. He stood in the doorway, arms crossed, vulnerable in a way she'd never seen him before. This is who you are now? She asked. Part of me. Yeah. And the other part? Still a monster. Just one trying to build something that matters. She walked to him, stopped close enough to see the scar on his eyebrow, the silver in his hair, the lines around his eyes. I don't know if I can forgive you, she said. I don't expect you to. But I want to try. His breath caught. Not because you deserve it, she continued, because I need to know if we can be something other than ghosts. What does that mean? It means I'll stay, for now. I'll let you show me who you've become. But if I find out you're lying, about the danger, about the violence, about any of it, I'm gone. Understood. And if I stay, I'm not just some mistress hiding in your safe house. I'm part of it. I see everything, the good and the bad. Lila, those are my terms. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Okay. Okay? You want the truth? I'll give it to you. All of it. She didn't know if she believed him, didn't know if this was healing or self-destruction, but she was tired of being alone. Show me, she said. Over the next 2 months, he did. She went to meetings in the back rooms of restaurants where men with hard eyes discussed territory and tribute. She saw money change hands, cash in duffel bags, wire transfers with coded memos. She met his lieutenants, Marcus Delgado, sharp and suspicious, Tommy Chen, quiet and lethal, Sophia's brother Dante, who looked at Adrian like he couldn't decide whether to hug him or shoot him. She saw the violence, too, not directly. Adrian kept her away from that, but she saw the aftermath. A man with a broken jaw who'd tried to skim from a protection payment. A warehouse torched after a rival tried to move product through Adrian's territory. Bodies that didn't make the news, but everyone knew about anyway. This is what you do, she said one night. They were at the cottage. She'd started spending weekends there, easier than pretending her apartment was home. This is what I manage, he corrected. I don't pull triggers anymore. I delegate. That's not better. No, but it's honest. She poured herself a glass of wine. Do you regret it? Any of it? Which part? Becoming this. He was quiet. Then, I regret losing you. Everything else. It kept me alive when I wanted to die. So no, I don't regret it, but I'm trying to evolve past it. How? By making sure the next generation doesn't have to choose between survival and morality. He gestured to a folder on the table. Look. She opened it. Business plans, legal contracts, construction permits for affordable housing, partnership agreements with community organizations. I'm going legitimate, he said. Slowly, carefully, but it's happening. Another 5 years, everything I control will be clean. And the men who work for you, the ones who've built their lives on the dirty money, I'm offering them options. Legitimate jobs, pensions, a way out. And if they don't want out, then they're not my problem anymore. She closed the folder. You're really doing this. I told you, I'm trying. She looked at him. This man who'd been her husband, her ghost, her enemy, her... What? She didn't have a word for it yet. I'm starting to believe you, she said. He smiled. Not the polished smile he wore in meetings. Something real. Good. That night, after too much wine and too many confessions, they ended up in the living room with the fireplace going and old records playing on a turntable Adrian had restored. You hate Sinatra, she said. You love him. That's enough. She laughed. It felt strange. Good. He stood, offered his hand. Dance with me. Adrian, just once, like we used to. She took his hand. They swayed in the firelight, not quite in rhythm, not quite strangers. His hand on her waist felt familiar and foreign all at once. She rested her head against his shoulder and let herself remember when they were young and stupid and thought love was enough. I miss her, she whispered. Me too. I miss us. His arms tightened. We're still here. Are we? He pulled back just enough to look at her. I don't know what we are, but I know I'm not letting go again. She should have pulled away. Should have kept the distance that kept her safe. Instead, she kissed him. It wasn't soft. Wasn't sweet. It was 4 years of anger and grief and need crashing together like a storm finally breaking, his hands in her hair, her fingers digging into his shoulders, desperation disguised as desire. When they broke apart, they were both breathing hard. Lila, don't. Don't make this more than it is. What is it? I don't know, but I need it right now. I need to feel something other than empty. He searched her face. Are you sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. They barely made it to the bedroom. Afterward, lying in tangled sheets with his heartbeat under her ear, she felt something crack open inside her. Not healing, not yet, but maybe the beginning of it. I can't promise you forever, she said into the dark. I'm not asking for forever, just tomorrow. What if tomorrow breaks us again? Then we'll figure it out, together, this time. She wanted to believe that. She almost did. But in the back of her mind, a voice whispered that nothing built on blood and secrets ever stood for long. She fell asleep anyway, too tired to listen. The betrayal came on a Thursday. Lila was at the center when Marcus pulled her into his office. We need to talk. What's wrong? He handed her a newspaper, folded to page 6. A headline: Federal investigation into Vail Enterprises alleges racketeering, money laundering. Her vision tunneled. Tell me it's not true, Marcus said. Tell me that money didn't come from this. She couldn't. Jesus, Lila. He told me he was going legitimate, and you believed him. Marcus's voice rose. You took $500,000 from a man under federal investigation and didn't think to ask questions? He showed me his businesses. They're real. Built on what? Where do you think the seed money came from? She didn't have an answer. The board's meeting tonight, Marcus said. Emergency session. They're going to vote on returning the donation. We can't. We've already spent... I know, which means we're in deep. And if the feds come sniffing around, we're done. The center's done. Everything we've built. She felt the walls closing in. I'm sorry, she whispered. Sorry doesn't fix this. He rubbed his face. I like you, Lila. You do good work. But you brought a bomb into this building, and I don't know how to defuse it. She left before he could say more. Outside, her phone rang. Adrian. She almost didn't answer. Have you seen the news? He asked. Yes. I'm handling it. How? The FBI doesn't just go away because you ask nicely. I've got lawyers, good ones. This is a fishing expedition. They've got nothing solid. They've got enough to investigate. Lila, listen to me. No. You listen. That money you gave me, it might cost me my job, my reputation, everything I've built. I'll fix this. You can't fix this. Her voice cracked. You can't just throw money at every problem and make it disappear. Real life doesn't work that way. I know. Do you? Because from where I'm standing, you're still the same man who ran away when things got hard. You just have better suits now. Silence. That's not fair, he said quietly. Fair? You want to talk about fair? She laughed bitterly. I trusted you. Again. And you lied. I didn't lie. You said you were going clean, but you're still dirty enough that the FBI wants your head. That's a lie of omission, and you know it. Lila. She hung up. Her hands shook so hard she dropped the phone. That night, the board voted. 7-3. Return the donation. Cut ties with Avail and any associated entities. Lila abstained. She drove to the cottage. Didn't call ahead. Didn't care if he was there. He was. Get out, she said when he opened the door. Lila, I said get out. This is over. We're over. Whatever the hell this was. Let me explain. Explain what? That you're under federal investigation? That everything you told me about going legitimate was bullshit? It's not bullshit. The investigation is targeting old business, stuff from years ago. I'm not actively. I don't care. She shoved him. He didn't move. I don't care about your excuses. I care that you made me complicit. That you used me. I never used you. Then what do you call this? You show up out of nowhere, throw money around, show me just enough truth to make me believe you've changed. And then this? She gestured wildly. You're still a criminal, Adrian. You're just better at hiding it now. I'm trying, Chob. Trying isn't enough. Tears burned her eyes. Trying doesn't protect me. Trying doesn't save my job. Trying doesn't make you clean. He stepped toward her. She stepped back. Don't, she warned. I love you. The words hit like a fist. What? I love you. I never stopped, and I know I don't deserve you. I know I'm still broken and dangerous and probably going to hell, but I love you, and I'm trying to be someone worthy of that. She shook her head. Love isn't enough. We proved that already. Then what is? I don't know, but it's not this. She wiped her eyes. I'm done, Adrian. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep hoping you'll be someone you're not. I'm not asking you to hope. I'm asking you to wait. Let me fix this. Let me prove. No. Her voice broke. No more proving. No more chances. I'm out. She turned to leave. He grabbed her arm, not hard, just enough to stop her. Please. She looked back, saw the man who'd held their daughter for 10 minutes and ran, saw the man who'd built an empire from grief, saw the stranger who'd somehow become familiar again. Let me go, she whispered. He did. She walked out, got in her car, drove back to the city with tears streaming down her face and the radio off because she couldn't stand the noise. When she got home, she found an envelope slipped under her door. Inside, a check from Adrian's lawyer, made out to Lakeview Community Center for $500,000. A note attached in Adrian's handwriting. This is clean money, my personal account. Not the business, not the empire, just me. Do with it what you need. No strings, no contact. I'm sorry. She sat on her floor and cried until she couldn't breathe. The next morning, she deposited the check. The board accepted it, quietly, gratefully. Lila didn't tell them where it came from. She threw away Adrian's number, deleted his emails, avoided the cottage. For 3 weeks, she rebuilt her walls. Then the bomb went off. Massive. The explosion happened at one of Adrian's recovery centers. Lila heard about it on the news. She was at the center, running a session with a family whose father had just been released from prison. The TV in the waiting room was on. Breaking news, fire trucks, smoke. Vail Recovery Center destroyed in suspected arson. 3 dead. Dozens injured. Her coffee cup slipped from her hand. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Lila! She was already running. She drove to Pilsen with her hand shaking so hard she could barely hold the wheel. Police had the block cordoned off. She parked illegally and ran to the barriers. The building was gone. Just rubble and smoke and firefighters pouring water on embers that refused to die. Ma'am, you need to step back. I know someone inside, she said. It wasn't quite a lie. Are you family? Yes. The officer's expression softened. Survivors are at Stroger. Check with them. She ran back to her car. Stroger Hospital's ER was chaos. She pushed through, asking anyone in scrubs if they'd seen Adrian Vail. Are you family? A nurse asked. Wife, Lila said. The lie came easy. Waiting room, 3rd floor. She took the stairs 2 at a time. The waiting room was full of men in suits with hard faces and women crying into phones. She recognized Dante, Sophia's brother. He saw her and stood. Is he alive? She asked. Yeah, banged up, but alive. Relief hit like a wave. What happened? Bombing. Pro job. We're still figuring out who. Were you there? No, he was. Visiting clients. If he'd been in his office, he didn't finish. Didn't need to. Can I see him? Dante hesitated. He told me you two were done. We are. But I need to see him. Something in her voice must have convinced him. He nodded. Room 312, but he's sedated, might not wake up for a while. She found the room, pushed the door open. Adrian lay in the hospital bed, bandages wrapped around his ribs, an IV in his arm, bruises blooming across his face, but alive, breathing. She sat in the chair beside him and cried, not because she'd forgiven him, not because she wanted him back, but because the thought of him dying had split her open all over again. She stayed until the sun set. When visiting hours ended, Dante appeared in the doorway. You should go home, he said. I know. He'll be okay. Adrian's got 9 lives. How many has he used? Dante smiled, grim. Too many. She stood, looked back at Adrian one more time. Tell him I was here, she said. You can tell him yourself, when he wakes up. No, I can't. She left before Dante could argue, but the next day she came back, and the day after that. On the 3rd day, Adrian woke up. His eyes opened slow, like someone dragging themselves out of deep water, unfocused at first. Then they landed on her. Lila, his voice was gravel, dry. She reached for the cup of water on the bedside table, held the straw to his lips. He drank without taking his eyes off her. You came back, he said. Don't read into it. Hard not to. She set the cup down. How do you feel? Like a building fell on me. He tried to shift, winced. How bad is it? 3 cracked ribs, concussion, 2nd-degree burns on your left arm. You're lucky. 3 people died. I know. His jaw tightened. She saw the guilt move across his face like weather. Who were they? She asked. Residents, James Park, 52, 6 months clean, Maria Gonzalez, 28, pregnant, and a kid, 16. Name was, his voice broke. Name was Kevin. He wanted to be a chef. She reached for his hand before she could stop herself. His fingers closed around hers, rough, warm, alive. This is what I didn't want, he said. This is why I tried to keep you away. From what? Bombs? From everything. The violence, the revenge, the fact that people want me dead and don't care who's standing nearby when they come for me. Who did this? Still figuring it out. Could be the Italians. Could be someone inside my organization. Could be federal agents trying to send a message. He laughed, bitter, painful. Take your pick. You have that many enemies? I built an empire on other people's backs. What do you think? She pulled her hand away. I think you're an idiot, probably. I think you got exactly what you asked for. Definitely. And I think I'm an even bigger idiot for sitting here. Why are you here? She didn't have a good answer. I saw the news. I needed to know if you were alive. Why? Because apparently I'm not done hating you yet. He smiled. It looked like it hurt. Fair. The door opened. Dante walked in, saw Lila, stopped. Didn't know we had company, he said. She was just leaving, Adrian said. No, I wasn't, Lila said. Both men looked at her. I want to know who did this, she said, and I want to know what you're going to do about it. Lila, you brought me into this world. You showed me the good parts and hid the bad. Well, now the bad's out in the open, and I want the truth, all of it. Adrian and Dante exchanged a look. Give us a minute, Adrian said. Dante nodded and left. Adrian shifted in the bed, bit back a groan. You don't want to be part of this. You're right, I don't. But I'm tired of pretending I can just walk away. You said you wanted honesty, so be honest. Who's trying to kill you? He was quiet for a long time, then. There's a guy. Mateo Ruiz runs territory on the south side. We had an agreement. He breaks it regularly. I let it slide because going to war costs more than it's worth. But 3 months ago, one of his guys killed a kid in a drive-by. 12 years old, wrong place, wrong time. What did you do? I told Mateo to hand over the shooter. He refused, said it'd make him look weak, so I made the decision for him. Meaning? Meaning the shooter's dead and Mateo's pissed. Her stomach turned. You killed him. I had him killed. There's a difference. Is there? In this world? Yeah. She stood, paced to the window. The city sprawled below, gray and gold in the afternoon light. So this is retaliation. Maybe, or maybe it's someone using Mateo as a scapegoat. In my line of work, everyone's got an angle. And you're just going to, what, kill him back? If he did this? Yes. That's insane. That's the job. She spun to face him. The job? You talk about it like you're a plumber, like this is just another day at the office. For me, it is. Then you haven't changed at all. His expression hardened. I never said I changed. I said I was trying. There's a difference. What difference? You're still killing people. You're still running a criminal empire. You're still trying to keep innocent people from dying in the crossfire, he interrupted. That kid, the 12-year-old. His name was Marcus, same as your boss. You want to know why I had that shooter killed? Because if I didn't, Mateo would have done it again, and someone had to draw a line. By becoming a murderer yourself? I was already a murderer. I just chose to aim it at people who deserved it. The words hung between them like smoke. Get out, he said quietly. What? You heard me. Get out. Go back to your safe little world where everything's black and white and nobody has to make ugly choices. Go save families with therapy and good intentions. Leave this to me. Adrian, I mean it, Lila. This is my mess, not yours. And I won't let you get hurt because you decided to play vigilante. I'm not playing anything. I'm trying to understand. There's nothing to understand. I'm a killer. You're a healer. We don't fit. We never did. So stop trying to make this work and walk away while you still can. She stared at him, at this man who'd been her husband, her ghost, her almost something, this stranger with familiar eyes and blood on his hands. You're pushing me away again, she said. Yeah, I am. Why? Because you being here makes me weak, and I can't afford weak right now. The truth of it hit like a slap. She grabbed her purse. Fine, have it your way. Lila? She slammed the door on his voice. In the hallway, Dante was waiting. He's an asshole, Dante said. I noticed. But he's right. You should stay away. Everyone keeps telling me that. Maybe I'm allergic to good advice. Dante almost smiled. He cares about you, more than he'll admit. That's why he's being a dick. Great. Glad his feelings justify his behavior. I didn't say they did, just explaining the logic. She laughed, short, bitter. There's no logic here, just broken people breaking each other. Yeah, that's pretty much the family business. She started toward the elevator. Miss Mercer? She turned. If you really want to help him, convince him to walk away. Sell everything. Disappear. He's got enough money to live 10 lifetimes. But he won't do it. Know why? Why? Because he thinks he deserves to die in this life, like it's penance for what he did to you. The elevator doors opened. She stepped in. Tell him penance doesn't mean anything if he's dead, she said. The doors closed. She made it to her car before she started shaking. Basi. 2 days later, the retaliation began. It started with a fire at one of Mateo's chop shops. Then a drive-by at a bar he owned. No one died, but the message was clear. Adrian was awake, and he was coming. Lila watched it unfold on the news like a horror movie she couldn't turn off. She told herself it wasn't her problem, told herself she'd walked away. But she couldn't stop checking her phone, couldn't stop wondering if Adrian was okay. Marcus noticed. You're distracted, he said. They were in his office, reviewing intake forms for new clients. I'm fine. You've been staring at the same page for 10 minutes. She set the file down. Sorry. Is this about the donor, Vale? She didn't answer. Marcus sighed. Lila, whatever's going on with him. There's nothing going on. Then why do you look like you're waiting for a bomb to drop? Because I am. He leaned back in his chair. You want to talk about it? No. You want time off? No. Then what do you want? I want to stop caring about someone who's determined to destroy himself. Yeah, good luck with that. She almost laughed. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Miss Mercer? A woman's voice, professional, clipped. Yes? This is Dr. Patel at Stroger Hospital. I'm calling about Adrian Vale. You're listed as his emergency contact. Her heart stopped. What happened? He left AMA, against medical advice, 4 hours ago. We've been trying to reach him, but his phone's off. Do you know where he might be? No. If you hear from him, please let us know. He shouldn't be mobile. His injuries, I'll call if I hear anything. She hung up. Marcus was watching her. I have to go, she said. Lila, I know. I'm an idiot. Add it to the list. She grabbed her coat and ran. She tried the cottage first. Empty. Then his house in Gold Coast. No answer. She called Dante. Voicemail. Panic climbed her throat. She was about to give up when her phone rang. Adrian. Where the hell are you? She answered. Somewhere safe. You're supposed to be in a hospital. Hospitals are targets. I'm better off moving. You have cracked ribs and a concussion. You're not better off anywhere. Lila, tell me where you are. Why? Because you're an idiot and someone needs to make sure you don't die. Silence. Then, the cottage. I was just there. You weren't. I'm here now. Just got in. She was already in her car. Stay there. Don't move. Don't do anything stupid. Can't promise that. Adrian. He hung up. She made the drive in 30 minutes. His car was in the driveway. The Toyota, not the sedan. She parked behind it and ran to the door. It was unlocked. She found him in the kitchen, sitting at the table with a bottle of whiskey and a gun. What the hell is this? She said. Insurance. Put the gun away. It's not loaded. I don't care. Put it away. He slid it across the table. She grabbed it, checked the chamber. He was right, empty, and set it on the counter. You look like hell, she said. Feel like it too. He did, pale, sweating. The bandages around his ribs were spotted with blood. You're bleeding. It's fine. It's not fine. You need a hospital. I need to end this. And what? The war. Before more people die. She sat across from him. How? I'm meeting Mateo tomorrow night. Neutral ground. We're going to settle this. Settle it how? However it needs to be settled. That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got. She reached across the table, took the whiskey bottle, drank. It burned. You're walking into a trap. Probably. And you're going anyway. Yeah. Why? But because if I don't, this doesn't end. He'll keep hitting my people. I'll keep hitting his. Eventually someone innocent gets caught in the middle again. I won't let that happen. So you're sacrificing yourself. I'm doing what I should have done from the start, facing it head on. She wanted to scream, wanted to shake him, wanted to drag him back to the hospital and chain him to the bed. Instead, she said, I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. You don't get a vote. Lila, you want to walk into a suicide mission? Fine, but you're not doing it alone. This isn't your fight. You made it my fight the day you walked back into my life. He stared at her. Why are you doing this? Because you're right. We're still us, even when we shouldn't be, even when it's stupid and dangerous and probably going to get us both killed. We're still us. His expression cracked. I don't deserve you. No, you don't. But here we are. He reached across the table. She took his hand. If you come, he said quietly, you stay in the car. You don't get out, no matter what happens. Okay. I mean it. I know. And if things go bad, they won't. If they do, you drive away. You don't look back. You don't try to save me. You just go. Adrian, promise me. She looked at him, at the fear in his eyes, the love, the resignation. I promise, she lied. 8. The meeting was set for midnight at a warehouse on the river. Abandoned, neutral, the kind of place where bodies turned up and no one asked questions. Adrian spent the day making arrangements. Lila watched him move through the cottage like a man preparing for his own funeral. Calls to Dante. instructions for his lawyers, letters sealed in envelopes she wasn't allowed to read. "You're acting like you're not coming back," she said. "I might not." "Then don't go." "I have to." "Why?" "But, Because this is who I am. This is what I built, and I won't let anyone else clean up my mess." She wanted to argue, wanted to beg, but she'd learned long ago that Adrian made decisions like closing doors, final, absolute. At 11, they got in his car. He drove. She sat beside him, hands folded in her lap to keep them from shaking. "You're scared," he said. "Terrified." "Good. Fear keeps you sharp." "I don't want to be sharp. I want to be home." "Then why are you here?" "Because you're an idiot, and I love you." The words were out before she could stop them. Adrian's hands tightened on the wheel. "Say that again," he said. "No?" "Lila, I'm angry at myself for saying it the first time. I'm not repeating it. You love me." "Apparently my self-preservation instincts are broken." He almost smiled. "Mine too." They drove in silence through streets that grew darker, emptier. The river appeared like a black ribbon cutting through the city. Adrian turned down a service road, followed it to a chain-link fence with a gate hanging open. The warehouse loomed ahead, concrete, windows like dead eyes. 3 cars were already there. "That's more than we agreed on," Adrian said. Is that bad?" "It's not good." He parked 50 yards back, engine running. "Stay here," he said. "Adrian, I mean it, door locked, engine on. If shooting starts, you drive, understand?" She nodded. He leaned over, kissed her. Hard, desperate, like a man drowning. "I love you too," he said against her mouth. "I never stopped." Then he got out. She watched him walk toward the warehouse, alone, unarmed, or at least visibly unarmed. She knew he had a gun tucked at his back, knew he had a knife strapped to his ankle, knew it probably wouldn't be enough. 4 men emerged from the warehouse. She recognized Matteo from photos Adrian had shown her, short, broad, a scar running from his eye to his jaw. The others were muscle, big, armed. Adrian stopped 10 feet away. They talked. She couldn't hear the words, but she could see the body language. Tense, aggressive. Matteo gestured. Adrian shook his head. Then Matteo pulled a gun. Lila's heart stopped. Adrian raised his hands, slowly. Matteo was yelling now. The other men closed in. She should drive away, should keep her promise. Instead, she opened the door. The sound carried in the cold air. Matteo's head snapped toward her. Adrian turned. "Lila, no." "Who's this?" Matteo called. "You bring your bitch to a negotiation?" "She's not part of this," Adrian said. "Let her go." "Let her go?" Matteo laughed. "You think you give orders here. This is between us." "Was. Now it's bigger." Matteo gestured. 2 of his men started toward Lila. Adrian moved. Fast. He grabbed the nearest man's gun arm, twisted, brought his elbow down hard. Bone cracked. The man screamed. Chaos erupted. Gunfire. Muzzle flashes. Lila dove behind the car as bullets punched through metal. She heard Adrian shout, heard bodies hitting ground. Then silence. She peered over the hood. Adrian was on his knees, hands behind his head. Blood ran down his face. Matteo stood over him, gun pressed to his skull. "Get up," Matteo said to Lila. "Now, or I paint the ground with his brains." She stood, hands raised. "Walk over here. Slow." She did. Each step felt like walking underwater. When she reached them, Matteo grabbed her arm, yanked her close. The gun moved from Adrian's head to hers. "This is better," Matteo said. "Now you get to watch her die before I kill you." "Please," Adrian's voice broke. "Please, take me. Let her go." "Why would I do that? This is more fun." Lila's ears rang. Her vision tunneled. She could feel the gun's muzzle against her temple. Cold, hard, final. "I'm sorry," Adrian whispered. "I'm so sorry." She looked at him. At the man she'd loved, lost, found again. The man who'd tried to save her by pushing her away and failed because love didn't work like that. "It's okay," she said. Matteo's finger tightened on the trigger. Then headlights flooded the scene. Cars, 3 of them, roared through the gate. Doors flew open. Men poured out. Dante's voice, "Drop it!" Matteo hesitated. That was all Adrian needed. He surged upward, drove his shoulder into Matteo's gut. The gun went off. Lila felt the bullet pass so close it displaced air against her cheek. Then Adrian had Matteo on the ground, fists driving into his face again and again and again until Dante pulled him off. "He's done," Dante said. "He's done, Adrian. Stop." Adrian stumbled back, chest heaving. His knuckles were split. Blood, his and Matteo's, covered his hands. Lila ran to him. He caught her, held her so tight she couldn't breathe. "You promised," he said into her hair. "You promised you'd stay in the car." "I lied." "You could have died." "So could you." He pulled back, cupped her face. "Are you hurt?" "No." "Are you?" "I'll live." Around them, Dante's men were securing Matteo and his crew. Zip ties, guns collected. Someone was calling it in. Not to the police. To whoever cleaned up messes like this. "What happens now?" Lila asked. "Now?" Adrian looked at Matteo. Unconscious, bleeding, finished. "Now we end this. For good." "How?" He didn't answer. Didn't need to. Dante approached. "We need to move. Police will be here soon." "Go," Adrian said. "I'll handle it." "Adrian, I said go. Take her. Keep her safe." "No," Lila said. "I'm not leaving you." "Lila, you don't get to push me away anymore. I'm here. I'm staying. Whatever happens next, we do it together." He searched her face, looking for doubt, for fear, for any reason to refuse. He found none. "Okay," he said finally. "Together." Dante shook his head. "You're both insane." "Probably," Adrian said, "but we're consistent." They got into Dante's car, Adrian, Lila, and two of Dante's men. They left Matteo and his crew for the cleanup team. As they drove away, Lila looked back, saw the warehouse receding, saw the place where she'd almost died, saw the moment she'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross. She wasn't an outsider anymore, wasn't a civilian watching from the sidelines. She was complicit, involved, part of Adrian's world in ways that couldn't be undone. And instead of terrifying her, it felt like relief, like she'd finally stopped pretending she could live half a life. Adrian's hand found hers in the dark. "No going back now," he said quietly. "I know. You understand what this means? What you just became." "Yeah. And you're okay with it?" She thought about the gun to her head, the fear, the clarity that came when death was close enough to taste. "I don't know if okay is the right word," she said, "but I'm here, and I'm not leaving." He kissed her knuckles. "Then we'll figure it out." The car turned onto Lakeshore Drive. The city sprawled beside them, lights reflecting off water, buildings reaching toward a sky that promised nothing. Somewhere behind them, men were disposing of evidence, making problems disappear, rewriting history so the truth would never surface. Somewhere ahead, consequences waited. Federal investigations, rival factions, the slow grind of violence that Adrian had spent years trying to escape. But in that moment, in the back seat of a car driving through a city that knew how to keep secrets, Lila felt something she hadn't felt in years. Not peace, not safety, but purpose. She'd spent 4 years rebuilding herself in the ruins of grief, building walls, keeping the world at arm's length, playing it safe. Maybe safe was overrated. Maybe the only way forward was through the fire. She leaned against Adrian's shoulder, felt his arm come around her, felt his heartbeat, fast, alive, real. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere they won't find us, at least for tonight. And tomorrow?" "Tomorrow we deal with the fallout." "Which will be?" "Bad. Matteo's organization won't let this slide. The feds will probably accelerate their investigation. And Dante's going to lecture me for 2 hours about bringing you into this." "Sounds fun." "It's not. But we'll survive it." "You sure about that?" He was quiet. Then, "No. But I'm sure about you, and that's enough." The car stopped at a building she didn't recognize. High-rise, expensive, security in the lobby. "Safe house," Dante said from the front seat. "No one knows about it except me." They took an elevator to the 23rd floor, a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lake. Minimal furniture, sterile, the kind of place built for hiding, not living. Dante handed Adrian a burner phone. I'll call you when it's clear. Could be a day. Could be a week. Thanks. Don't thank me. Just don't get her killed. Dante left. The door locked behind him. Lila and Adrian stood in the empty apartment, alone for the first time since the warehouse. You're bleeding again, she said. He looked down. The bandages around his ribs were soaked through. Yeah. Bathroom. Now. She found a first aid kit under the sink, stocked like a field hospital. Bandages, antiseptic, sutures, painkillers. She made Adrian sit on the toilet while she worked. His injuries were worse than he'd admitted. The ribs were seeping, the cut on his forehead needed stitches. Bruises bloomed across his torso like storm clouds. You should be in a hospital, she said as she cleaned the wounds. Hospitals ask questions. So do I. He smiled, winced when it pulled his split lip. Ask. Do you regret it? Any of this? Bringing you into my world? Yes. Every second and not at all. That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got. He caught her wrist. I'm sorry, for tonight, for all of it. You could have died because I was too stubborn to walk away from this life. You were trying to protect people. I was trying to protect my ego. There's a difference. She taped the last bandage. What happens now? After tonight? I don't know. Mateo's finished, but his people aren't. And the feds? They're going to come at me hard. Can you win? Against Mateo's crew, maybe. Against the federal government? He laughed. No. Then what's the plan? There isn't one. I'm making this up as I go. She sat back on her heels. That's terrifying. Yeah. I meant what I said in the car. I'm not leaving. I know. Even if it gets worse. It will get worse. Then we'll deal with it. He pulled her close, kissed her forehead. You're insane. So are you. We're perfect for each other. They stayed like that, her on the floor, him on the toilet, both of them battered and exhausted, until the adrenaline faded and exhaustion took over. Come on, she said. You need rest. She helped him to the bedroom. He collapsed on the bed, fully dressed. She lay down beside him. Lila? Yeah? I meant what I said too. I love you. I never stopped. I know. And I'm going to do everything I can to keep you safe. I know that too. Even if it means pushing you away again. She rolled to face him. Don't you dare. If it keeps you alive, I don't want to be kept alive at arm's length. I want to live. With you. In whatever mess this turns into. You don't know what you're asking for. Yes, I do. I'm asking for the truth, all of it. The blood and the violence and the danger. I'm asking to stop being protected and start being trusted. He stared at her. Then, okay. Okay? You want in? You're in. No more walls, no more secrets. Promise? Promise. She kissed him. Tasted blood and whiskey and something that felt like hope. They fell asleep tangled together, two broken people trying to build something whole from the wreckage. Outside, the city hummed. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Somewhere, Mateo's organization was planning revenge. Somewhere, federal agents were building their case. But in that moment, in a safe house overlooking a dark lake, Lila Mercer stopped running from her past and stepped fully into a future she couldn't predict. She'd crossed the point of no return, and she wasn't looking back. Eek. Morning came too soon. Lila woke to Adrian already up, on the phone, pacing by the windows. His voice was low, clipped. She caught fragments. How many? When? Dante. I don't care what it costs. She sat up. Her whole body ached. Stress, fear, the crash after adrenaline. Adrian ended the call, turned. You're awake. What's wrong? Mateo's second in command hit 3 of our locations overnight, burned one, shot up another. The third, they took hostages. Her blood went cold. Hostages? Staff at one of the recovery centers. 5 people. They're demanding I surrender control of my territory and turn myself over to them. You can't. I won't. But I need to get them out. How? Working on it. He came to the bed, sat beside her. I need you to stay here. Adrian, please, just for today, let me handle this. Then we'll figure out next steps. She wanted to argue, wanted to insist on coming with him, but the exhaustion in his eyes stopped her. "Okay," she said, "but you call me. Every hour, or I'm coming to find you. Deal." He kissed her, quick, hard, and left. She spent the day pacing. The apartment felt like a cage. She tried to watch TV, tried to read, tried to sleep. Nothing worked. Adrian called every hour, like promised. Each time his voice was tighter, more strained. On the fifth call, he said, "I'm going in." "Going in where?" "The building where they're holding the hostages. Dante's got a plan. It's risky, but it's all we've got." "Let me help." "No." "Adrian, I can't lose you. Not again. Not like this." His voice cracked. "Please, Lila, stay there. Stay safe. Let me do this. And if you don't come back, then Dante will get you out. You'll be okay." "I don't want to be okay without you." Silence. Then, "I love you." The line went dead. She stared at the phone. Stay safe. Stay here. Let him handle it. She'd promised, but promises made under duress didn't count. She grabbed her coat, found the keys to a car in the kitchen drawer, Dante must have left them, and headed for the door. She was done watching from the sidelines. If Adrian was walking into hell, she was walking in with him, even if it killed them both. The address Dante had given Adrian was in Bridgeport, a neighborhood where questions didn't get asked and sirens were white noise. Lila drove with her hands white-knuckled on the wheel, following the GPS on the burner phone she'd found in the apartment. 20 minutes. She could make it in 20 minutes if traffic cooperated. Traffic didn't cooperate. By the time she pulled onto the street, she was 37 minutes behind Adrian. The building was obvious, an old meatpacking plant, windows dark, cars clustered around the loading dock like scavengers around a carcass. She parked a block away, killed the engine, and sat in the silence trying to figure out what the hell she thought she was doing. She had no weapon, no plan, no backup. Just a bone-deep certainty that if Adrian died today, she'd spend the rest of her life wishing she'd been there. She got out of the car. The air smelled like rust and river water. Her breath came out in clouds. She walked toward the building, keeping to the shadows, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might crack a rib. A man stood by the loading dock entrance, smoking. One of Mateo's crew, she recognized the tattoos from photos Adrian had shown her. He hadn't seen her yet. She should turn back. Should call Dante. Should do literally anything except what she was about to do. Instead, she stepped into the light. "Hey!" The man's head snapped up. His hand went to his waistband. "I'm looking for Adrian Vale," she said. Her voice didn't shake. Small miracle. The man's eyes narrowed. "Who the fuck are you?" "Someone he cares about, which means I'm leverage. So either shoot me or take me to whoever's in charge." He stared at her like she'd grown a second head. Then he pulled his phone, made a call, spoke in rapid Spanish, hung up. "Inside," he said. "Hands where I can see them." She raised her hands. He patted her down, quick, professional, then grabbed her arm and shoved her toward the door. The interior of the plant was a maze of rusted machinery and dangling chains. Emergency lights cast everything in sickly yellow. She heard voices ahead, echoing off concrete. They emerged into a wide-open space that must have been the main floor, and there, in the center, was Adrian. He was on his knees, hands zip-tied behind his back, blood running from his nose. Dante was beside him, in the same position. 3 other men, Adrian's crew, she assumed, were lined up against the wall, similarly bound. And standing over them, gun in hand, was someone she recognized. Tommy Chen, Adrian's lieutenant. The quiet one, the one Adrian had trusted. Her stomach dropped. Tommy saw her. His expression didn't change. "Miss Mercer," he said. "Didn't expect to see you here." Adrian's head jerked up. When he saw her, the blood drained from his face. "Lila, no. Shut up," Tommy said. He gestured to the man who'd brought her in. "Tie her up. Put her with the others." "Wait," Lila said. "What's happening? Tommy, what? "What's happening is I'm taking what should have been mine from the start." Tommy walked toward her. Up close, she could see the coldness in his eyes. No warmth, no humanity. Adrian's been weak, soft, building rec centers and scholarship funds like he's running a charity instead of an empire. I've been cleaning up his messes for 3 years. Time for new management. "You're the one who set the bomb," Adrian said. His voice was flat, dead. The bomb, the hostages, Mateo's retaliation, all me. Tommy smiled. Mateo was easy. Told him you killed his guy, helped him plan the warehouse attack, told him where you'd be. He did the heavy lifting. All I had to do was wait for you to walk into my trap. Dante spat blood. You piece of shit, says the man tied up on the floor. Tommy turned back to Adrian. You were supposed to die at the warehouse. But you got lucky, so I adapted. Used Mateo's crew to hit your locations, take hostages, force you to come here. And here you are. The hostages, Lila said. Where are they? Safe. For now. They were bait, but they served their purpose. Adrian's jaw tightened. Let them go. Let all of them go. This is between us. No, this is a coup. And coups require witnesses. They need to see you fall, need to understand that loyalty to you is a death sentence. Tommy gestured to the men against the wall, starting with them. He raised his gun. Wait, Lila shouted. Tommy paused. You need leverage, right? Someone to keep Adrian in line? I don't need leverage. I'm going to kill him. Then you're an idiot. The words came out before she could stop them. You kill him, Dante takes over, or one of the others, and they'll hunt you down. But if you keep him alive, use him as a figurehead, you control the organization without the blowback. Tommy studied her. You're smarter than I thought. I've been around long enough to know how this works. And what do you get out of this? He stays alive. That's all I want. Lila, don't... Adrian started. Shut up, she said. To Tommy, I'll make sure he cooperates. Keep him docile. You get the empire. I get him breathing. Everyone wins. Tommy lowered the gun. Interesting. Don't listen to her, Dante said. She's stalling. Maybe. But she's right about one thing. Killing Adrian creates problems. Controlling him solves them. Tommy walked a slow circle around Adrian. You'd really play house with me in charge? Be my little insurance policy? If it keeps him alive? Yes. Adrian's head dropped. She could see his shoulders shaking, rage or grief she couldn't tell. Tommy stopped in front of her. You love him that much? Yes. Even knowing what he is? Especially knowing what he is. Tommy laughed. You're either the most loyal woman alive or the dumbest, maybe both. He gestured to the man holding her. Untie her hands. But if she moves wrong, shoot her in the leg. Her hands were freed. She rubbed her wrists, mind racing. She'd bought time. Now she needed a plan. Tommy pulled a phone from his pocket, tossed it to her. Call the board. Tell them Adrian's stepping down. Effective immediately. I'm taking over. Anyone who has a problem with it can join him on the floor. She caught the phone. And if I don't? I start shooting his people until you do. He aimed at the nearest man against the wall, starting with Marcus. Okay, she said quickly. Okay, I'll call. Good girl. She unlocked the phone. The contact list was full of names she didn't recognize. She found one labeled board. Her finger hovered over the call button. This was it, the moment she became complicit not just in Adrian's world, but in its corruption. If she made this call, she'd be handing control to a man who'd orchestrated murder and betrayal. She'd be condemning Adrian to a life as a puppet. She'd be choosing survival over principle. And she'd do it anyway. She pressed call. It rang twice. A man answered. Tommy, what's the status? Lila's mind went blank. Then, this is Lila Mercer, Adrian Vale's... She didn't have a word for what she was. I'm with Adrian. He's stepping down. Tommy Chen is taking over the organization. Effective immediately. Silence. Put Adrian on, the man said. She looked at Tommy. He nodded. She walked to Adrian, knelt, held the phone to his ear. It's true, Adrian said. His voice was broken glass. I'm done. Tommy's in charge. Anyone who wants to walk away, walk away. Anyone who stays answers to him now. More silence. Then, understood. The line went dead. Lila pulled the phone away. Adrian wouldn't look at her. Good, Tommy said. See? Easy. Now, we just need to make it official. He pulled out his own phone, started recording. Adrian Vale, former head of the Southside Territory, is hereby relinquishing all control to me, Tommy Chen. Say it. Adrian said nothing. Tommy aimed his gun at Lila. Say it or I put a bullet in her knee. I relinquish control to Tommy Chen, Adrian said. Each word sounded like it cost him a piece of his soul. Louder! I relinquish control to Tommy Chen. Good. Tommy stopped recording, sent the video somewhere. Now everyone knows. You're done. Finished. And if you try anything, if you so much as breathe wrong, I'll kill everyone you've ever cared about, starting with her. He gestured to Lila. What happens now? Dante asked. Now. You all get to live, for now. But you're confined to a location of my choosing until I consolidate power. Think of it as protective custody. Tommy gestured to his men. Load them up, separate vehicles, and someone call the cleanup crew. I want this place sanitized. Men moved. Adrian and Dante were hauled to their feet. Lila tried to go to Adrian, but a hand on her shoulder stopped her. You ride with me, Tommy said. They were separated. Adrian shoved into one van, Dante into another, the other men into a third. Lila was pushed into a black SUV with Tommy and 2 armed guards. As they drove away from the meatpacking plant, Lila watched the building recede in the side mirror. Somewhere inside, the hostages were still waiting. Or maybe they were already dead, and this had all been for nothing. Where are we going? She asked. Someplace quiet, Tommy said, where Adrian can think about his choices. You're going to kill him. Eventually, but not yet. Right now, he's useful. A cautionary tale. A reminder that even the strongest fall. And me? You're his leash. As long as you're alive, he'll behave. The day you're not useful anymore, he shrugged. She stared out the window. The city passed by. Her city, Adrian's city, now Tommy's city. Everything they'd fought for, stolen in a single night. How long have you been planning this? She asked. 2 years, since Sophia died and Adrian started his redemption arc. I watched him go soft. Watched him waste resources on recovery centers and housing projects. Watched him turn into something weak. Tommy lit a cigarette. I tried to steer him back, but he wouldn't listen. So I took matters into my own hands. Mateo didn't blow up that recovery center? You did. I had it done. There's a difference. 3 people died. Collateral damage. They were residents, people trying to get clean. They were addicts, the world's better off. Rage flooded her. She wanted to claw his eyes out, wanted to grab the gun from the guard beside her and empty it into Tommy's face. But she sat still, hands folded, breathing through her nose, because Adrian was still alive. And as long as he was alive, there was a chance. They drove for 40 minutes, out of the city, into suburbs that thinned into farmland. The SUV turned down a gravel road, then through a gate into a compound. High fences, guard towers, lights on poles that turned night into day. A prison. Welcome to your new home, Tommy said. Inside the compound was military grade. Barracks. Armory. A central building that looked like command headquarters. Men with rifles patrolled the perimeter. Lila was taken to a small room, concrete walls, a cot, a toilet behind a partition. No windows. A single door with a lock on the outside. Make yourself comfortable, Tommy said. You'll be here a while. Where's Adrian? Nearby, don't worry. You'll see him soon. The door closed. The lock clicked. She sat on the cot and tried not to scream. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time lost meaning in the windowless room. She paced, sat, paced again. Her mind ran in circles, chasing solutions that didn't exist. Finally, the door opened. A guard stepped in. Come with me. She followed him through hallways that all looked the same. They stopped at another door. He unlocked it, pushed her inside. Adrian was there. He sat on a cot identical to hers, head in his hands. When he heard her enter, he looked up. His face was a ruin, bruised, swollen, one eye nearly shut. Jesus, she whispered. They wanted to make a point. She crossed the room, knelt in front of him. Are you okay? No. Are you? I'm fine. They haven't touched me. Yet. She took his hands. We're going to get out of this. He laughed, bitter, broken. How? Tommy owns the organization now. My people, my resources, everything. We've got nothing. We've got each other. That's not enough. It's all we have. He pulled his hands away. I should have listened to you. Should have walked away when I had the chance. Now we're both dead. It's just a matter of when. Adrian, You should hate me. You should have left me in that warehouse. Let Mateo pull the trigger. Shut up. I'm serious. This is my fault. All of it. I brought you into this, and now... She kissed him, hard, desperate, tasting blood and regret, and something that might have been hope if hope hadn't died 3 hours ago. When she pulled back, he was staring at her. I don't hate you, she said. I'm angry. I'm terrified. But I don't hate you. Why not? Because hating you would be easier, and I'm done taking the easy way out. The door opened. The guard stepped in. Time's up. Wait, Adrian said. Please. Just a few more minutes. Boss says now. Lila was pulled to her feet. Adrian stood, tried to follow. The guard shoved him back. Adrian, I'll fix this, he said. I swear. I'll find a way. The door closed between them. She was taken back to her cell, the door locked. She sat on the cot and stared at the wall until her eyes burned. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Coming closer. The door opened. Tommy stepped in, flanked by 2 guards. Get up, he said. Why? Because I want to show you something. She stood, followed him through the compound to a room with monitors covering one wall. Security feeds. She saw Adrian's cell, Dante's. The other men, each in their own room. Welcome to your new reality, Tommy said. Every move you make, I see. Every word you speak, I hear. There's no privacy, no escape, no hope. What do you want from me? I want you to understand the stakes. He pointed to one of the monitors. Adrian, sitting on his cot, head in his hands. He's broken. But he'll heal, and when he does, he'll try something stupid. That's when you step in. Step in how? You convince him to accept his new role, to stop fighting, to be the puppet I need him to be. Tommy turned to face her. Because if he doesn't, people die. Starting with the hostages. You said they were safe. They are. For now. But I've got them in a warehouse on the east side. One phone call and they burn. All 5 of them. And it'll be Adrian's fault. You want that on his conscience? Her hands shook. You're a monster. I'm a businessman. Monsters don't plan this well. He gestured to the screens. You've got 24 hours to convince him. After that, I start killing hostages, 1 every 6 hours until he falls in line. Clock's ticking. He left. She stood in the surveillance room, staring at the screens, and felt something inside her crack. This was it. The end game. Tommy had won. Adrian was caged. The hostages were leverage. And she was the key to making Adrian surrender completely. She could do it. She could go to his cell, tell him to give up, save the hostages, save himself, and watch him die inside. Or she could refuse. Let Tommy kill the hostages. Let Adrian live with that guilt, and hope they found another way. There was no good choice. No right answer, just consequences in every direction. She walked back to her cell in a daze. The guard locked her in. She sat on the cot and stared at nothing. Hours passed. Then the door opened again. This time, it wasn't Tommy. It was Dante. He stepped inside, closed the door quietly. His face was a mess, split lip, black eye, but his eyes were sharp. We've got maybe 2 minutes before they realize I'm not in my cell, he said. Guard owed me a favor. Paid it off tonight. Listen, Tommy's planning to kill Adrian tomorrow night. Public execution. Make an example. Her blood turned to ice. He said 24 hours. He lied. The hostages are already dead. He killed them this morning. Everything he's telling you is bullshit designed to keep Adrian compliant until he doesn't need him anymore. How do you know? I've still got people on the inside. They're feeding me intel. Tommy thinks he's got everyone, but he's wrong. There are loyalists, and they're ready to move. Move how? Coup. Counter-coup. Whatever you want to call it. We hit him tomorrow before he can execute Adrian. But we need Adrian's cooperation. He's given up. You need to ungive up him. How am I supposed to do that? I don't know. You're the one he loves. Figure it out. Dante handed her something small and hard. A key. This opens his cell. Use it after lights out. You'll have 10 minutes before the patrol comes back around. And then what? Then you remind him who the fuck he is. Because right now he's acting like a corpse. And we need a fighter. Footsteps in the hallway. Dante's head snapped toward the door. Go, she whispered. He slipped out. The door closed. She heard his voice in the hallway, casual, saying something about needing the bathroom. The guard's response, laughter, then silence. She looked at the key in her palm, small, silver. A lifeline or a noose, depending on how this played out. The lights went out at 10. She waited, counted to 600, then used the key. The lock clicked open like a gunshot in the quiet. She slipped into the hallway, bare feet silent on concrete. Adrian's cell was 3 doors down. She unlocked it, stepped inside. He was awake, sitting against the wall. Lila? How? Dante. She closed the door, locked it from the inside. We don't have much time. What's happening? Tommy's going to kill you tomorrow. The hostages are already dead. Everything he's told us is a lie. Adrian's face went pale. The hostages? Dead. This morning. We can mourn them later. Right now I need you to listen. She knelt in front of him. Dante's people are planning a move, a counter coup. But they need you. Not the broken version. The real you. I don't know if there's anything real left. Bullshit. You think Tommy broke you? He didn't. You're still here, still breathing, still dangerous. I handed him everything. Under duress, that doesn't count. I gave up. I let him win. You bought us time. Now we use it. She grabbed his face, forced him to look at her. I didn't walk into hell for you to quit on me. I didn't put a gun to my head for you to roll over and die. So stop feeling sorry for yourself and start figuring out how to take your life back. He stared at her. Something flickered behind his eyes. Anger, or maybe hope. How? He asked. You're Adrian fucking Vale. You built an empire from nothing. You survived losing everything and came back stronger. This is just another Tuesday for you. This is different. Tommy's got leverage, had leverage. The hostages are dead. There's nothing left to hold over you. He's got you. So protect me by winning, not by surrendering. Adrian was quiet. Then, if we do this, if we fight back, people will die. People are already dying. At least this way we choose who. That's not comforting. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be true. He stood, paced the small cell. She could see him thinking, recalculating, becoming something other than the broken man Tommy had created. What's the plan? He asked finally. I don't know. Dante said his people are ready to move, but they need a signal from you. A signal saying what? That you're still in this, that you haven't given up. How do I send that? She thought. Then, Tommy's watching us, right now, on those cameras. He's waiting for you to break completely. So don't. Tomorrow, when he comes for you, don't beg, don't plead. Make him understand that taking you down took his best shot, and you're still standing. That's suicide. No, that's strategy. You show strength. His people start questioning. They start wondering if they backed the wrong horse. Doubt spreads. And when doubt spreads, empires fall. Adrian looked at her. Really looked at her. When did you become a tactician? When I fell in love with a gangster and decided to survive it. He almost smiled. Then he pulled her close, held her like she was the only solid thing in a world made of smoke. If this goes wrong, he started, it won't. But if it does, then we go down fighting, together, no regrets. He kissed her, not desperate this time, determined. Okay, he said, let's burn his empire down. Footsteps in the hallway. The patrol. Go, he said, before they see you. She unlocked the door, slipped out, locked it behind her. She made it back to her cell 30 seconds before the guard's flashlight swept past her door. She lay on the cot, heart pounding, and tried to believe her own words. They could do this. They could fight back. They could win. Or they could die trying. Either way, she was done being a victim. Morning came with the sound of boots on concrete. Her door opened. The guard gestured. Boss wants to see you. She followed him to the surveillance room. Tommy was there, watching the monitors. He didn't turn when she entered. Did you talk to him? He asked. Yes. And? He'll cooperate. Tommy turned. You're lying. I'm not. I watched the footage. Saw Dante slip you the key. Saw you go to Adrian's cell. Heard every word. He walked toward her. You really think I'm that stupid? Her mouth went dry. I let it happen, Tommy continued. Wanted to see what you'd do. Turns out you're a fighter. I respect that. But respect doesn't mean mercy. Tommy, he pulled a gun, pressed it to her forehead. Here's how this works. You're going to call Adrian. You're going to tell him you're being executed in 1 hour unless he publicly swears loyalty to me, on camera, in front of everyone. And if he refuses, I pull this trigger and make him watch the footage before I kill him too. He won't do it. He will, because you're the only thing he has left. Tommy handed her a phone. Call him now. She took the phone. Her hand shook so hard she almost dropped it. This was it. The moment everything collapsed. She could call Adrian, beg him to save her, watch him surrender everything, or she could refuse, die, and hope he survived long enough to finish what they'd started. She looked at Tommy, at the gun, at the cold certainty in his eyes. Then she made her choice. She threw the phone at his face. It hit him square in the nose. Blood sprayed. He stumbled back, cursing. She ran. Didn't know where she was going. Didn't have a plan. Just ran. Guards shouted. Boots pounded behind her. She turned a corner, hit a door, burst through into daylight. The compound, surrounded by fences. Nowhere to go, but she ran anyway. Made it 20 feet before they tackled her. She hit the ground hard, face in the dirt, hands wrenched behind her back, a knee in her spine, a gun to her head. Bring her back, Tommy's voice. Muffled, furious. They dragged her to her feet, marched her back inside, threw her into a room she hadn't seen before. It was empty except for a chair bolted to the floor. They forced her into it, zip-tied her wrists and ankles. Tommy walked in, holding a cloth to his bleeding nose. That was stupid, he said. Probably. You just signed your death warrant. I was dead anyway. At least this way I went out on my terms. He laughed. You've got guts. Shame I have to waste them. He pulled his gun. The door burst open. Gunfire, screaming, blood. Tommy went down, hole in his chest. The guards beside him dropped. Dante stood in the doorway, rifle in hand, smoke curling from the barrel. You're late, Lila said. Traffic was a bitch. He cut her zip ties. Can you walk? I can run. Good. We need to move. Tommy's men are regrouping. They ran, through hallways erupting in violence, men fighting men, gunfire echoing off concrete. Dante led her through the chaos, rifle up, clearing corners. They reached the armory. Dante handed her a gun. You know how to use this? Point and shoot? Close enough. Stay behind me. They pushed through. Outside the compound was a war zone. Loyalists fighting Tommy's crew, bodies on the ground, fire spreading from one of the barracks. Where's Adrian? Lila shouted over the noise. Cell block, Dante pointed. East side. They ran, made it halfway before someone shot Dante. He went down hard, blood spreading across his shoulder. Go, he yelled. Get Adrian. I'll hold them. Dante, go! Go! She ran, left him bleeding in the dirt, hated herself for it, but ran anyway. The cell block was locked. She shot the lock, kicked the door open. Adrian's cell. She fumbled with the key, got it open. He was standing, ready. Lila, we're leaving, now. Dante is holding them off. Come on! They ran together, out of the cell block, across the compound. Bullets cracked past them. Someone screamed. Something exploded. Adrian grabbed a rifle from a dead guard, started returning fire. They fought their way to the gate. It was open, hanging off its hinges. Beyond it, vehicles. Dante's crew, pulling up in vans and trucks. Get in, someone shouted. They ran, dove into the back of a van. It peeled out before the door was even closed. Lila looked back, saw the compound burning, saw men running, saw Dante being dragged to his feet by two loyalists, blood-soaked but alive. They made it. Somehow, impossibly, they made it. The van drove for an hour before stopping. They were in an industrial area, empty warehouses and broken streetlights. Adrian helped Lila out. She was shaking, adrenaline crashing. He held her while she fell apart. It's over, he said. We're safe. Tommy, dead. Dante got him. Your organization. We'll figure it out. He pulled back, looked at her. You saved my life. Again. You saved mine first. That's not how I remember it. She laughed, or maybe cried. Hard to tell. Around them, men were regrouping, taking stock. Someone mentioned casualties. Someone else mentioned rebuilding. But Lila didn't care about any of that. She just held on to Adrian and let herself breathe. They'd survived, barely, bloodied, broken, but alive. And sometimes that was enough. The safe house was a gutted factory in Gary, Indiana, 40 minutes from Chicago, but a world away from the empire Adrian used to control. Broken windows, graffiti on walls, the kind of place where homeless people slept and cops didn't bother to patrol. Perfect for regrouping after a war. Lila sat on a metal crate, watching Adrian pace. He'd been at it for 20 minutes, phone pressed to his ear, barking orders to what remained of his organization. His voice was hoarse. His hands shook when he thought no one was looking. Dante sat against the wall, shoulder bandaged, face gray from blood loss. Someone had stitched him up, but he needed a hospital. He wouldn't go. Said hospitals meant questions and questions meant feds. 7 men stood around the space, all that was left of Adrian's inner circle. The rest were dead, captured, or had switched sides when Tommy made his move. 7 men to rebuild an empire. The math didn't work. Adrian ended his call, turned to face the group. "Status," he said. One of the men, Carlos, thick accent, scar across his throat, spoke first. "Tommy's dead, but his people aren't. They've seized 4 of our territories. The Italians are moving in on the south side. The Russians are making noise about the docks. Everyone thinks we're finished." "We are finished," another man said. Mickey, young, scared. "We've got no muscle, no money, no—" "We've got me," Adrian cut in. "And that's enough. With respect, boss, it's not. Tommy burned half our operations. The feds are circling. Our suppliers won't touch us until they know who's in charge. We're bleeding out." Adrian's jaw tightened. "Then we cauterize. Fast. I want every remaining territory locked down, every supplier contacted, every debt called in. We consolidate what we have and defend it until we can rebuild." "That'll take months," Carlos said. "Then we work fast. And if the Italians or Russians hit us while we're weak, then we hit back twice as hard." Silence. The men exchanged looks. No one believed it. Lila could see it in their faces. They were here out of loyalty or fear, but not hope. Adrian saw it too. "If any of you want out," he said quietly, "walk now. No hard feelings. I'll even give you severance. But if you stay all the way. We take back what's ours, or we die trying. Those are the only options." No one moved. "Good." Adrian turned to Dante. "How bad?" "Bad. But I'll live." "You need a hospital. I need you to stop worrying about me and start worrying about the fact that we've got maybe 48 hours before someone realizes we're hiding in a condemned building and sends a hit squad." "I'm aware." "Are you?" "Because you're acting like we've got time to plan. We don't. Every second we sit here, our enemies get stronger." "What do you suggest?" Dante grimaced, shifted against the wall. "We go on offense, pick our biggest threat and cut its head off. Make a statement. Remind everyone why they were afraid of you in the first place." "The Italians," Carlos said. "They're the biggest threat. Marco Castellano's running their operation now. He's the one who allied with Tommy. Take him out, the Italians fall apart." "Marco's got 30 men protecting him," Mickey said. "We've got 7. That's suicide." "It's strategy," Dante said. "You don't need 30 men to kill one target. You need one good plan and the balls to execute it." Adrian looked at Lila. She'd been silent through all of this, watching, listening, trying to understand how these men could sit in a ruined building talking about murder like it was a business meeting. "What do you think?" he asked. Everyone turned to her. "Me," she said. "You're part of this now. You get a vote." I'm not." She stopped, took a breath. "I think you're all insane. I think this whole world is insane. But I also think Dante's right. You can't rebuild from a position of weakness. You have to show strength first. Even if it costs lives? Lives are already being lost. At least this way, you choose whose." Adrian studied her. "You sound like me." "God help me." He almost smiled. Then he turned back to the group. "We hit Marco. Tomorrow night. Dante, you're on intel. Find out where he'll be and when. Carlos, inventory our weapons. I want to know exactly what we're working with. Mickey, reach out to our suppliers. Tell them we're back in business, and they better pick a side. The rest of you, get some sleep. We move at dusk." The men dispersed. Dante pulled himself to his feet with a grunt, headed for a back room where someone had set up a makeshift communication center. Leela and Adrian were alone. She stood, walked to where he leaned against a rusted support beam. "You're really doing this," she said. "Yeah." "Killing Marco Castellano." "Yeah." "And if it goes wrong? Then we're dead and this conversation becomes irrelevant." "That's not funny. It's not meant to be." He reached for her hand. "I need you to stay here tomorrow. When we go after Marco, I need you safe." "No. Lila, I didn't survive Tommy just to sit on the sidelines while you walk into another war. If you're doing this, I'm there." "You're not trained for this. You'll get hurt, or worse." "Then train me. You've got 18 hours. Teach me enough to not be a liability. That's not how it works. Make it work." He stared at her. "Why are you doing this?" "Because the alternative is sitting here wondering if you're coming back. And I can't do that. Not again." She stepped closer. "You want me safe? Keep me close. Because I'm done waiting in empty rooms for news I don't want to hear. If you come, you follow orders. No heroics. No improvisation. You do exactly what I say when I say it. Okay? I mean it." "I know." He pulled her against him. "I don't want to lose you." "Then don't. Come back alive. We both do." They stood like that, two broken people holding each other in a broken building, until the weight of tomorrow settled over them like ash. Training started at dawn. Adrian took her to the back of the factory where someone had cleared space. He handed her a gun, Glock 19, same as his. "This is the safety. This is the magazine release. This is how you rack the slide." He demonstrated. "Your turn." She fumbled through it, dropped the magazine twice. Adrian picked it up without comment, handed it back. Again. They drilled for an hour. Loading, unloading, aiming, breathing. By the end, her hands ached and she could field strip the weapon in under 30 seconds. "Good," Adrian said. "Now the hard part." He set up targets, cans on crates, paper tape to walls. Sight alignment, front post, center mass. Squeeze, don't pull, control your breathing. She fired. The recoil shocked her. The can didn't move. Again. She fired. Missed. Again. Fired. Missed. You're anticipating the recoil. Relax. Let it surprise you. She tried. Fired. The can jumped. There. Do that 9 more times. By noon, she could hit center mass at 15 feet. Not great, but good enough to not shoot Adrian in the back. Dante appeared, walking slow, favoring his shoulder. "Intel's in. Marco's having dinner tomorrow at Giordano's. Private room. Back entrance on Superior Street. He'll have 6 bodyguards, maybe more." "Escape routes?" Adrian asked. "Kitchen exits to the alley. Fire escape on the 2nd floor. Front entrance is suicide. Too many civilians." "So we go through the back. Fast and loud. In and out before his people can react. That's the idea." "What about police response time?" 4 minutes from the nearest station. We'll have maybe 3 before sirens." Adrian nodded. "Tight, but doable. We'll need a driver. Someone good. Mickey can drive. He's 22 and scared of his own shadow. He's also got the fastest hands I've ever seen behind a wheel, and he's loyal." "Fine. Mickey drives. You're staying here." "The hell I am. You've got 1 working arm and you're bleeding through your bandages. You're a liability. I'm the only one besides you who knows how to run this organization. If you die and I'm not there to take over, this whole thing collapses." "If I die, it collapses anyway." "Then don't die." They stared at each other. 2 stubborn men refusing to blink. "You stay in the car," Adrian said finally. "You don't come inside. You coordinate from the vehicle and you're ready to drive if it goes bad." "Deal." Adrian turned to Lila. "Same goes for you. You stay with Dante and Mickey in the car. Your backup, nothing more. What if you need help inside? I won't. But if you do, then you let me handle it." His voice was steel. "I need to know you're safe. That's the only way I can focus on this." She wanted to argue, wanted to insist she could help, but the look in his eyes stopped her. "Okay," she said. "I'll stay in the car." The next day crawled. Lila couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Just sat on her crate cleaning and re-cleaning her gun until Adrian took it away and told her to stop before she wore out the barrel. At 5 p.m., they started gearing up. Kevlar vests, spare magazines, radios. Adrian moved through the checklist with mechanical precision. Carlos and 2 others, Frank and Javier, would go inside with him. 4 men against 6 bodyguards plus Marco. Not good odds, but better than nothing. Dante briefed them on the layout. Back door leads to a hallway. Private room is second on the left. One exit besides the way you came in, through the kitchen. Marco sits with his back to the wall, always. You'll have to approach from the door. He'll see you coming. So we don't give him time to react, Adrian said. We go in shooting. What about civilians? Lila asked. Everyone looked at her. It's a restaurant, she continued. What if there are people in the hallway, in the kitchen? There won't be, Adrian said. Marco rents the whole back section when he eats there. It's just him and his crew. But if there won't be. Adrian, Lila. He took her shoulders. I know this feels wrong. I know you want to believe there's a clean way to do this, but there isn't. Marco wants me dead. His people want us dead. It's him or us. That's the choice. And if someone innocent gets hurt, they won't. Because we'll be careful. But if we hesitate, if we second guess, we die. All of us, including you. She wanted to throw up. Instead, she nodded. At 6:30, they loaded into 2 vehicles. Adrian, Carlos, Frank, and Javier in a black sedan. Lila, Dante, and Mickey in a van. They drove in convoy through rush hour traffic. 2 predators sliding through a city that didn't know it was about to bleed. Giordano's was in River North. Tourist area. Expensive. Lila had eaten there once, years ago, when Adrian took her for their anniversary. The memory felt like it belonged to someone else. They parked 2 blocks away. Lila's hands wouldn't stop shaking. Adrian came to the van, leaned through the window. Remember, he said to her, you stay here. No matter what you hear, no matter what happens, you wait for us. I remember. He kissed her, quick, hard, like sealing a promise. Then he was gone. She watched him walk away, him and Carlos and Frank and Javier, 4 men in dark coats disappearing into the Chicago evening. Dante sat in the passenger seat, radio in his good hand. Mickey gripped the wheel, knuckles white. How long? Lila asked. Should be quick, Dante said. 5 minutes. Maybe less. 5 minutes felt like forever. They waited. 3 minutes in, the radio crackled. Adrian's voice. We're in position. Going dark. Then silence. Lila counted her heartbeats. Got to 90 before the first gunshot. It sounded distant, muffled, like someone popping a balloon in another room. Then more shots, a lot more. That's not right, Mickey said. That's too many. Shut up, Dante said. He keyed the radio. Adrian, status, static. Adrian, report. More static. Then, ambush, trapped in the need extraction. The transmission cut. Shit, Dante said. They knew we were coming. How? Lila asked. Doesn't matter, we need to move. Mickey, pull up to the alley. Now. Mickey threw the van into gear. They lurched forward, tires squealing. Lila's stomach dropped. You said we'd wait. Plans change. If they're trapped, we're their only way out. They rounded the corner. The alley behind Giordano's was chaos. Bodies on the ground. Muzzle flashes in the dark. Men shouting. Too many men. Marco hadn't brought 6 bodyguards. He'd brought 20, and Adrian had walked right into them. Dante threw open the van door. Cover me. You can't. Your shoulder. I'm not leaving them to die. He grabbed a rifle from the back, stumbled out. Lila watched him disappear into the firefight. Mickey was hyperventilating. We need to go. We need to... Shut up. Lila grabbed her gun. Checked the magazine. 14 rounds. What are you doing? Getting them out. You'll die. Then I'll die. She jumped out of the van before she could think better of it. The alley was hell. Smoke. Blood. Screaming. She ran toward the back entrance, firing at anything that moved that wasn't Adrian. Her shots went wide. She didn't care, just needed to create chaos. Distraction. Someone shot back. The bullet hit the wall beside her head. Brick exploded. Shrapnel cut her cheek. She kept running, found Dante behind a dumpster, returning fire. "Where are they?" she shouted. "Inside, pinned in the kitchen." "How many?" "I don't know. Go back to the van." She ran past him. The back door hung open. She slipped inside. The hallway was dark. Smoke burned her eyes. She heard gunfire ahead, short, controlled bursts. Adrian's rhythm. She followed the sound. The kitchen was a war zone. Overturned tables, shattered glass, blood pooling on tile. Adrian crouched behind a steel counter, Carlos beside him. Frank was on the floor, not moving. Javier held his stomach, blood seeping through his fingers. Marco's men had them surrounded. 8 shooters, moving in. Lila didn't think, just raised her gun and fired, caught one man in the shoulder. He spun, went down. Everyone turned toward her. Adrian's eyes went wide. "Lila, no!" She dove behind a prep station as bullets chewed through stainless steel. "What the hell are you doing?" Adrian shouted. "Saving your ass! I told you to stay in the van." "Yeah, well, I lied." She blind fired around the corner. Heard someone curse. Heard return fire. Her gun clicked empty. She fumbled for the spare magazine, dropped it, hands shaking too bad. A shadow moved beside her. She looked up. One of Marco's men. Gun pointed at her face. She closed her eyes. The shot came from her left. The man dropped. Adrian was there, pulling her behind the counter. "Reload," he said. "Now." She picked up the magazine, slammed it home, racked the slide. Adrian's radio crackled. Dante's voice. "Police, 2 minutes out." "We need to move," Carlos said. "Now." "Javier can't walk," Adrian said. "Leave me," Javier gasped. "Get out." "Shut up." Adrian grabbed him, hauled him up. "We leave together or not at all." They ran. Adrian half dragging Javier, Carlos covering their 6, Lila in the middle, firing wild to keep heads down. They burst into the alley. Dante was there, still shooting. Mickey had pulled the van up, rear doors open. They piled in. Dante last, firing until the magazine was empty, then diving through the door. "Go!" Adrian shouted. Mickey stomped the gas. The van fishtailed out of the alley, side panels sparking against brick. Lila heard sirens, saw flashing lights. They made a hard right. Then another. Mickey drove like he was possessed. Through red lights, wrong way down one-ways, into traffic, and out again. 5 minutes later, they were clear. 10 minutes later, they were back at the factory. Everyone stumbled out. Javier collapsed. Carlos started chest compressions. "He's gone," Dante said quietly. "No." Carlos kept pumping. "Come on, man. Stay with me." "Carlos, he's gone." Carlos sat back, hands covered in Javier's blood. Adrian leaned against the van, chest heaving. His face was spattered red. His hands shook. Lila walked to him. Didn't say anything. Just stood there. "Frank and Javier," he said. His voice was hollow. "Dead. Because I walked into a trap." "How did they know?" she asked. "Someone told them. Someone inside." "Who?" "I don't know, but I'm going to find out." Dante limped over. His bandages were soaked through. "We've got bigger problems. That was supposed to be a surgical strike. Instead, it was a bloodbath. Every cop in the city will be looking for us. The feds will accelerate their investigation. And Marco's still alive." "Where is he?" Adrian asked. "Got out through the front while we were pinned in the kitchen. He's in the wind." Adrian's fist hit the van. Once, twice, denting metal. "We failed," he said. "We lost 2 men and gained nothing." "We gained information," Dante said. "We know there's a rat. We flushed them out. We cut off Marco's intel." "And how do we do that?" "We feed different information to different people. See which version gets back to Marco." "That'll take time we don't have." "Then we make time." Adrian turned to the group. 4 men left. 4 exhausted, bloodied, terrified men. "Listen up," he said. "Tonight was a disaster, but it's not over. Marco thinks he won. Let him. Let him think we're broken. We go underground, we wait, and when he gets comfortable, we hit him again. Harder, smarter." "With what army?" Mickey asked. "We're 5 people. Then we recruit. We find every soldier Tommy displaced, every supplier Marco screwed, every person with a grudge against the Italians, and we build something new. That'll take weeks. Then we work fast. Adrian's eyes were hard. I'm not giving up. Not on this organization. Not on you. And sure as hell not on revenge. Marco Castellano is a dead man. He just doesn't know it yet. No one argued. They dispersed. Dante to make calls, Carlos to tend wounds, Mickey to secure the perimeter. Lila stayed with Adrian. You could have died, he said without looking at her. So could you. I told you to stay in the van, and I told you I was done sitting on the sidelines. This isn't a game, Lila. People die. You almost died. But I didn't. He turned to face her. Next time you might, and I can't. His voice broke. I can't lose you. Not like Emma. Not like everyone else I've ever cared about. She took his face in her hands. Then let me fight. Let me be part of this. Because trying to protect me by pushing me away doesn't work. It just makes us both miserable. I'm trying to keep you safe. I don't need safe. I need you. Alive. Fighting. Winning. She kissed him. Tasted smoke and blood. We do this together or not at all. He pulled her close. Held her like she might disappear. Together, he whispered. They spent the next 2 days rebuilding. Dante's contacts came through. Soldiers Tommy had cast aside. Suppliers Marco had muscled out. Low-level operators looking for new management. By the third day, they had 15 people. Not an army, but a start. Adrian drilled them. Weapons, tactics, discipline. He was relentless. Brutal. Turning civilians into soldiers in 72 hours. Lila trained with them. Adrian stopped trying to keep her separate. If she was going to be part of this, she needed to be ready. On the fourth day, Dante came through with actionable intel. Marco's moving a shipment, he said. They were gathered in the factory's main room. Guns, coming in through the port of Chicago. He's using it to arm his people for a push into our territory. When? Adrian asked. Tomorrow night, 11 p.m. How many men guarding it? 12, maybe 15. And we've got 18, if we pull everyone. Adrian looked at the map Dante had spread on a table. The port, the warehouse, access roads. We hit them at the warehouse, he said. After the shipment arrives, but before they distribute it. We take the guns, kill anyone who fights back, and send Marco a message he can't ignore. What message? Carlos asked. That we're not broken. We're hungry. Plans were made, positions assigned. Lila was given a rifle and told to cover the east entrance. She didn't argue. That night she couldn't sleep. She lay on a cot in the corner, listening to men snore and whisper prayers. Adrian was still awake, sitting by a window, staring at nothing. She went to him. You should rest, she said. Can't. Why? Because every time I close my eyes, I see Frank and Javier, and Emma, and everyone I've failed. She sat beside him. You didn't fail them. I led them into a trap. That's failing. You also got most of them out. That's winning. Doesn't feel like it. She took his hand. Tomorrow, we take the shipment. We hurt Marco. We start taking back what's yours. That's not failing. That's fighting. And if we lose, then we lose together. He looked at her. You know you don't have to do this. You could walk away, right now. I'd understand. I know. So why don't you? Because somewhere between the hospital and the warehouse and tonight, I stopped being the woman who sits home waiting. I became the woman who fights, and I don't know how to go back. Is that what you want? To go back? She thought about it, about her old life, her quiet apartment, her safe job, her walls built high to keep the pain out. No, she said. I don't. He kissed her, slow, tender. Nothing like the desperate kisses they'd shared before. This one felt like a promise. After tomorrow, he said. After we take the shipment, I want to show you something. What? The house. The one with the nursery. I want to take you there. Just us. No war. No blood. Just us. Like a date? Like a future. She wanted to believe that was possible. Okay, she said. After tomorrow. They sat together until dawn broke. Then they armed themselves for war. The port of Chicago smelled like diesel and dead fish. Lila crouched behind a shipping container, rifle across her lap, watching the warehouse. 11 p.m. Marco's truck had arrived 10 minutes ago. Men were unloading crates. Adrian's voice came through her earpiece. "Everyone in position?" A chorus of affirmatives. "Wait for my signal. No one moves until I say." Lila's heart pounded. Her palms were slick with sweat despite the cold. She'd fired a gun in anger before. But this was different. This was planned, premeditated. This was murder. She pushed the thought away. Adrian's signal came. Now. They hit the warehouse from 3 sides. Lila stayed at her position, rifle up, covering the east door like Adrian had ordered. Gunfire erupted inside, shouting, screaming. A man burst through her door, running. She aimed, hesitated. He saw her, raised his gun. She fired, hit him in the chest. He went down. She stared at the body, at the blood spreading across concrete. She'd killed someone. More men came through the door. She fired. Again. Again. Muscle memory taking over. Survival instinct. Bodies dropped. Inside, the shooting intensified, then slowed, then stopped. Adrian's voice. "Clear. Warehouse secure." Lila lowered her rifle. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Someone grabbed her shoulder. She spun, gun up. Carlos. "Easy. It's over." "Is Adrian?" "He's fine. Come on." Inside the warehouse, Adrian's people were securing the shipment. Crates of weapons, enough to arm 50 men. Marco's crew was dead, all 15 of them. Adrian saw Lila cross to her. "You okay?" "I killed them." "I know. 3 men. I killed 3 men. They would have killed you." "I know, but I still—" She bent over, thought she might vomit. Adrian held her hair back. "Breathe. Just breathe." She did. Eventually the nausea passed. "I'm okay," she said. "You sure?" "No, but I will be." Dante appeared. "We've got company. Marco's sending reinforcements. ETA 5 minutes. Load the trucks," Adrian said. "Everything. We move now." They worked fast, crates into vehicles, bodies left where they fell. They were pulling out when headlights appeared. 4 cars. Coming fast. "Go!" Adrian shouted. "I'll hold them." "No!" Lila grabbed him. "Together, remember?" He looked at her, then nodded. They ran for the last truck. Bullets pinged off metal. They dove into the back. The truck peeled out. Behind them, Marco's men gave chase. "Faster!" Dante shouted. Mickey drove like the devil was chasing them. Because he was. They lost 2 cars at the expressway. The other 2 stayed close. "We can't outrun them," Carlos said. "Then we stop running." Adrian grabbed a rifle, kicked open the back door. Wind roared in. The pursuing cars swerved. Adrian aimed, fired. The lead car's windshield shattered. It spun out, crashed into a guardrail. The second car accelerated. Lila grabbed another rifle, aimed at the driver, hesitated. "Lila!" Adrian shouted. "Now!" She fired, missed, fired again, hit the tire. The car wobbled, fishtailed, flipped. Adrian slammed the door shut. "Clear!" They drove in silence for 10 minutes, then 20. Finally stopped at the factory. Unloaded the weapons, counted losses, 2 wounded, none dead. They'd won. Adrian gathered everyone. "Tonight, we sent a message. Marco Castellano thought we were broken. Tonight we proved him wrong. This is just the beginning. We keep hitting him, keep taking what's his, until he's got nothing left, and we've got everything." The men cheered. Lila didn't. She just stared at her hands, still shaking, still covered in someone else's blood. Adrian came to her after everyone dispersed. "You did good," he said. "I killed people. You survived. That's what matters." "Is it? Because I don't feel like I survived. I feel like I died and someone else is wearing my skin." He pulled her close. "That feeling goes away. Eventually." "Does it?" He didn't answer, because they both knew the truth. It didn't go away. You just learned to live with it. Bacham. 3 days later, Adrian kept his promise. They drove to the cottage, just the 2 of them. No guards, no war. Inside, the house was exactly as Lila remembered. Yellow nursery, rocking chair, books on shelves. Adrian led her to the bedroom. On the nightstand was a small box. He opened it. Inside was a ring. The same ring he'd given her years ago when they got married. Simple gold band. "I kept it," he said, "all this time. Didn't know why. But now I do. He knelt. Lila Brennan, I'm not the man you married. I'm worse in some ways, better in others. But I love you. I've always loved you. And I want to spend whatever time I have left making up for the years I wasted running from you. Tears streamed down her face. This won't be easy, he continued. There's still a war, still enemies, still blood. But if you'll have me, if you'll marry me again, I swear I'll fight every day to be worthy of you. She looked at the ring, at the man holding it, at the future they might have if they survived. Yes, she whispered. He slid the ring onto her finger. They made love in the bed they'd never shared, in the house built for a family that never was. And for one night, they pretended the war was over. But morning came, and with it, a phone call. Dante's voice. Urgent. We've got a problem. Marco's called a sit-down, wants to meet, tonight, says he's ready to negotiate. It's a trap, Adrian said. Probably, but if we don't show, he'll see it as weakness, and we can't afford that. Adrian looked at Lila. She saw the question in his eyes. We go, she said. Together. He nodded, spoke into the phone. Tell him I'll be there with my fiancé. He wants to talk? We'll talk, but we come armed. Understood. They drove back to the city, to the final confrontation, to the moment that would decide everything, because wars didn't end with negotiations. They ended with blood. The meeting was set for midnight at Navy Pier, a location chosen for its openness. No ambushes, no hidden gunmen, just two men and their crews standing face to face under the Chicago sky. Adrian didn't believe it for a second. They arrived 30 minutes early. Dante coordinated from a vehicle 2 blocks back, still recovering but functional. Carlos and 3 others spread out along the pier, watching angles. Mickey stayed with the cars, engines running. Lila stood beside Adrian, the weight of the Glock tucked into her waistband, a constant reminder of how far she'd fallen. Or risen. She couldn't tell anymore. You don't have to be here, Adrian said for the 3rd time. I know. If this goes bad, then it goes bad. We've had this conversation. He looked at her. The ring on her finger caught the light from the street lamps. I meant what I said. At the house. About deserving you. I know. I'm going to try. Every day. To be better. I know that too. He kissed her forehead. Stay behind me. If shooting starts, you run. Understood? She didn't answer. They both knew she wouldn't run. At 11:58, headlights appeared. 3 black SUVs rolled onto the pier, stopped 50 feet away. Doors opened. Marco Castellano stepped out. He was shorter than Lila expected. 50s. Graying hair slicked back. Expensive suit. Diamond pinky ring that caught the light. He moved with the confidence of a man who'd never lost a fight. 6 bodyguards flanked him, armed, alert. Marco walked forward, stopped 20 feet from Adrian. Vale, he said, voice like gravel in a blender. Castellano. You've been busy, my shipment, my men. You're making this personal. You made it personal when you allied with Tommy. Business decision, nothing personal. You helped him set a trap that killed my people. Marco shrugged. Casualties of war. You'd have done the same. Maybe, but I wouldn't have pretended it was a peace negotiation. Is that what you think this is? A trap? Isn't it? Marco smiled. No, this is me offering you a way out. You're beaten, Vale. Your organization's in shambles. Your territories are bleeding. Your people are scared. You've got maybe 20 soldiers left. I've got 200. The math doesn't work in your favor. And yet here you are, offering terms. If I was really beaten, you'd have just killed me. True. But killing you creates a power vacuum. Someone else steps up. The violence continues. Bad for business. So instead, I'm offering you a deal. You step down, publicly. You hand over your remaining territories. In exchange, I let you live. You and your people. You get to walk away. Retire. Disappear. Live whatever life you've got left. And if I refuse, then I bury you, along with everyone you care about. Marco's eyes flicked to Lila. Including her. Adrian's jaw tightened. You threaten her again, negotiations over. It's not a threat. It's a fact. You keep fighting, she dies. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But eventually, someone's bullet finds her. Is that what you want? Her blood on your conscience? Another ghost to keep you up at night? Lila felt Adrian's hand twitch toward his gun. Don't, she whispered. He didn't move. Marco continued, I know about your daughter, Emma. I know what losing her did to you. You really want to go through that again? Watch another woman you love die because you were too stubborn to walk away? You don't know anything about my daughter. I know she's the reason you're broken, the reason you ran, the reason you became this. Marco gestured around them. A criminal pretending he's building something meaningful. You're not a king, Vale. You're a ghost haunting your own grave. Adrian took a step forward. Carlos moved with him. Marco's guards tensed. Careful, Marco said. We're here to talk, not die. Then talk. What do you really want? I told you, your surrender, your territories, your resources, everything you've built. In exchange, you get peace. Peace at gunpoint isn't peace, it's slavery. Call it what you want, but it's the only offer you're getting. Adrian was quiet for a long moment. Lila could see him calculating, weighing options, looking for angles. I need to think about it, he said finally. You've got 24 hours. After that, the offer expires and we settle this the old-fashioned way. One condition, you let my people go. All of them. They get out clean. New identities, fresh starts. They don't deserve to die for my choices. Marco considered. Agreed. But you stay. You face whatever comes. No running this time. Deal. They stared at each other. Two predators sizing each other up. Then Marco turned and walked back to his vehicles. Tomorrow night, same place. You give me your answer. He paused at his SUV. And Vale? Don't do anything stupid. I've got eyes everywhere. You so much as sneeze wrong, I'll know. The SUVs pulled away. Adrian's people emerged from the shadows. Dante's voice crackled over the radio. That went better than expected. He's planning something, Adrian said. No way he's letting us walk. Agreed, Carlos said. But what? I don't know. But we've got 24 hours to figure it out. They drove back to the factory. Inside, Adrian paced while Lila sat on her crate watching him think. You're not actually considering his offer, she said. I'm considering everything. Adrian, if I surrender, you live. Everyone lives. That's worth considering. And then what? We hide for the rest of our lives? Always looking over our shoulders? Waiting for Marco to decide we're too risky to keep alive? Maybe, but you'd be alive. That's not living, that's just breathing. He stopped pacing. What do you want me to do, Lila? Keep fighting until we're all dead? Because that's where this is headed. Marco's right. We're outgunned, outmanned, out of options. The smart play is to walk away. When have you ever made the smart play? Maybe it's time to start. She stood, cross to him. You don't mean that. You're scared. I get it. I'm scared too. But you don't build what you built, good and bad, by being smart. You built it by being stubborn, by refusing to quit even when quitting made sense. That's who you are. Don't lose that now. I lost that the day Emma died. No, you buried it, but it's still there. I've seen it. In the warehouse, at the port. Every time you chose to fight instead of run. You're not a ghost, Adrian. You're a survivor. So survive. Find a way to win. He looked at her. There might not be a way. Then make one. Dante limped into the room. We've got a problem. Just got word. Marco's people hit 3 of our remaining safe houses. Killed everyone inside. Adrian's face went white. When? While we were at the pier, he was buying time, thinning our numbers. How many dead? 8, including some civilians who were in the wrong place. Lila felt sick. Lied. About the truce, about everything. Of course he did, Dante said. He's a Castellano. Lying's in the DNA. Adrian's hands curled into fists. How many people do we have left? 12, counting us. Weapons? What we took from the port. Maybe 100 guns, limited ammunition. Safe houses? This one. And maybe 2 others if Marco hasn't found them yet. Adrian leaned against the wall, closed his eyes. We're finished. Not yet, Dante said. We've still got one advantage. What's that? Marco thinks he's won. He's getting cocky, sloppy. If we hit him tonight, before he expects it, we might catch him off guard. With 12 people against 200? We don't need to fight all 200. We just need to kill him. Cut the head off the snake. Where is he? Holed up in his compound in Oak Park. 40 men guarding him, maybe more. That's suicide. So is waiting here for him to pick us off one by one. Dante met Adrian's eyes. We're dead either way. At least this way we go down swinging. Carlos spoke up. I'm in, whatever you decide. The others murmured agreement. Adrian looked at Lila. What do you think? I think Dante's right. If we're going to die, let's make it mean something. You understand what you're saying? If we do this, we're not coming back. This is the end, win or lose. I understand. He studied her face, looking for doubt, for fear, for any reason to say no. He found none. Okay, he said quietly. We hit the compound, tonight, but we do it smart. No frontal assault. We go in quiet. Find Marco. Put a bullet in his head. And we get out before his people know what happened. How? Carlos asked. Adrian pulled out his phone, scrolled through contacts, made a call. Who is this? A voice answered. It's Adrian Vale. I need a favor. Pause. I'm listening. I need blueprints for Marco Castellano's compound. Security systems, guard rotations, everything. That's not a small ask. I know. Name your price. You win this war, I want exclusive shipping rights through the Port of Chicago. 5 years, no competition. Done. I'll have the information to you in an hour. Adrian hung up, looked at his people. We've got 1 hour to plan this. After that, we move. Questions? No one spoke. Good. Carlos, inventory our equipment. Dante, coordinate with our remaining safe houses. Tell everyone to go dark. If we don't come back, they scatter. New cities, new names. They forget they ever knew us. Lila, he turned to her. I need you to do something for me. What? Stay here. No. Lila, I said no. I'm not sitting this out. If we fail, if I die, someone needs to survive to tell the story. To make sure Marco doesn't rewrite history. Then let Dante do it, or Carlos. I'm going with you. You'll slow us down. Bullshit. I've kept up so far. This is different. He struggled for words. This is the end, Lila. I can feel it, and I need to know you're safe, please. She stepped close, took his face in her hands. I didn't say yes to you again. Didn't put this ring back on my finger, just to lose you the same night. If this is the end, we face it together. That's what marriage means, for better or worse. Remember? His eyes glistened. I remember. Then stop trying to protect me and let me fight beside you. He pulled her close, held her like the world was ending, because maybe it was. Okay, he whispered. Together. Book. The blueprints arrived 45 minutes later. Adrian spread them across a table, studying. Marco's compound was a fortress, high walls, cameras, motion sensors, guard towers at each corner. The main house sat in the center, 3 stories, reinforced doors, panic room in the basement. There, Dante said, pointing. Service entrance, southeast corner, kitchen deliveries. Guards check it every 30 minutes, but there's a blind spot. How do we get through the wall? Carlos asked. We don't. We go under. Adrian traced a line on the blueprint. Storm drain, runs under the property, opens up here, in the garden, 20 feet from the back entrance. That drain's probably monitored, which is why we create a distraction, something big, pull guards away from the house. Like what? Adrian thought. Fire. We hit one of Marco's warehouses on the west side, make it look like a raid. He'll send people to check it out. That gives us our window. How long? 10 minutes? Maybe 15. We get in, find Marco, execute him, and get out before reinforcements arrive. And if he's in the panic room, then we flush him out, or we burn the whole place down with him inside. Lila spoke. What about civilians, staff, people who aren't soldiers? We avoid them if we can, but if they're between us and Marco, they're fair game. She wanted to argue, wanted to say there had to be another way, but she'd crossed that line weeks ago. There was no going back now. They spent the next hour preparing, loading magazines, checking gear, running through the plan until everyone knew their role. At 2 a.m., they moved. Dante stayed behind to coordinate. Carlos led one team to hit the warehouse. Adrian led the other, Mickey, Lila, and 2 others named Rodrigo and Sam into the storm drain. The tunnel was narrow, dark. Water ran ankle-deep, freezing cold. They moved in single file, flashlights cutting through the black. After 10 minutes, they reached the grate beneath Marco's property. Adrian pried it open, climbed through. The others followed. They emerged in the garden, trees, hedges, statues of Roman generals. The house loomed ahead, lights on in several windows. Adrian's radio crackled. Carlos. Warehouse is burning. Repeat. Warehouse is burning. You've got your window. Copy. Moving now. They crossed the garden, reached the back door. Adrian tried the handle. Locked. Rodrigo pulled out tools, picked it in 30 seconds. Inside was a kitchen. Industrial. Stainless steel. Empty. They moved through. Hallway, stairs, no guards. The distraction was working. They reached the 2nd floor. Adrian checked rooms, guest bedrooms, offices. No Marco. 3rd floor. The master suite was at the end of the hall. 2 guards outside. Adrian signaled. Mickey and Sam moved left. He and Lila went right. They hit simultaneously. Knives, not guns. Silent. Both guards dropped. Adrian opened the door. Marco sat at a desk, back to them, phone to his ear, talking in Italian. Adrian raised his gun. Marco spun, faster than expected. He had a gun of his own. They fired at the same time. Adrian's shot hit Marco's shoulder. Marco's shot went wide, hit the wall. Marco dove behind his desk. Adrian rushed forward. They collided, grappled. The gun skittered away. Marco was stronger than he looked. He drove Adrian back, slammed him against the wall. Adrian's head cracked against plaster. Stars exploded. Marco grabbed a letter opener from the desk, drove it toward Adrian's throat. Adrian caught his wrist. Inches from skin, straining. Lila appeared, gun up. Marco! He turned. She fired, hit him in the chest. He staggered, looked down at the blood spreading across his shirt, looked up at Lila. You bitch, he gasped. She fired again, and again. He fell. Adrian pushed himself up, breathing hard. You okay? Yeah. You? I'll live. He looked at Marco's body. We need to move. His people will be here soon. They ran, back down the stairs, through the kitchen, into the garden. Gunfire erupted behind them. Guards, lots of them. The distraction was over. Adrian's team returned fire. They ran for the storm drain. Bullets chewed through hedges. Statues shattered. Mickey went down, shot in the leg. Adrian grabbed him, dragged him toward the grate. Rodrigo covered their retreat, took 3 rounds to the chest, dropped. Sam kept firing, backing toward the drain, got clipped in the shoulder but kept moving. They made it. Dropped into the tunnel. Adrian pulled the grate shut behind them. They ran through the water. Behind them, guards shouted. Flashlights swept the tunnel. They burst out the other end. Their vehicle was waiting, Dante behind the wheel. They piled in. Dante floored it. Behind them, the compound erupted in chaos, sirens, shouting, gunfire. But they were clear. 10 minutes later, they stopped in an abandoned lot. Mickey was bleeding out. Sam tried to stop it, but the leg wound was too deep. Artery hit. Leave me, Mickey said. Get out of here. No, Adrian said. I'm dead anyway. Don't waste time. Shut up. Adrian pressed harder on the wound, but the blood kept coming. Mickey grabbed his hand. Tell my mom. Tell her I tried. Then his eyes went empty. Adrian sat back, covered in blood, another ghost to haunt him. Lila pulled him away. We have to go. They drove back to the factory. Inside, Dante was waiting. Marco? He asked. Dead, Adrian said. But we lost Rodrigo and Mickey. Sam? He'll make it. Shoulder wound. Dante nodded. Then it's over. The war. We won. No one celebrated. They sat in silence, exhausted, broken, alive. Basate. Dawn came cold and gray. Lila stood outside the factory watching the sun rise over the city. Adrian found her there. Couldn't sleep? He asked. Didn't try. He stood beside her. I keep waiting to feel something. Relief, victory, anything, but I'm just empty. That's normal. After. Is it? I don't know. I've never killed someone before yesterday. He looked at her. You saved my life. I know. I'm sorry you had to do that. I'm not. He would have killed you, then me, then everyone we care about. I'd do it again. That's what scares me. Why? Because you're becoming like me. Hard, cold, willing to do terrible things for the right reasons. Is that bad? I don't know. But I know it changes you, and I don't want you to wake up one day and realize you've turned into someone you don't recognize. She took his hand. Then we help each other